Mic, check. Oh, I think the mic's working. Let's see what we got here. Is the mic working? Yeah, the mic's working. Good. What is up, everybody? You guys ready to nerd out on some Tizoys? Mike is good. What's up, Czar Larry? Just swing it. Kanara, TYD in the house. Khan, what's going on? Redheaded Queen is here. K-Baby, Oh yeah, my old Atari 2600 shirt. I forgot I had this. It's kind of apropos for tonight's show. That rhymes, sparse. What's up, Jedi Spidey? Swirly, Starry Sky, what's going on? It's good to see everybody. It's really good to see everybody. I'm glad that you guys are ready to talk about some toys. I'm having some mic issues here. Hold on, guys. Hold on a second. My mic is... There we go. All right, hold on a second. Hold on. All right, I think we're good. Gloriosa, hello. Good to see you. Good to see you, Gloriosa. Long time no see. I hope you guys are ready to talk about some toys and get all nerdy and stuff. I'm excited about this. You know what's really interesting about this is that the really interesting thing about this is, we all come from like different times, right? A lot of us are from different times. Whoa, thank you for the resub, Khan. Thank you. Thank you for the resub, my dude. I really appreciate that. So it's been a while since I've talked about toys or even thought about actual toys. You know what I mean? Like, and so many of us are from different, eras. I don't know if era is the word. I guess generations, I guess is a good word. What's going on, Pitt? How are you? So we all had, some of us are, I think there's going to be a little bit of an overlap. There might be a little bit of an overlap. What's up, Hammer Shot? As far as like what toys we played with when we were young or the toys that we were excited about when we were young, there might be a slight overlap. But I think for the most part, everybody had some kind of toys or toy that they played with, of some type. And I thought it would be really cool to kind of find out. I was thinking about this before I did the show, thinking about what kind of toys that we could talk about, and then, like Kanara was talking about her first toys were, decades. So here's the thing about years, right? Like, here's the thing about years. It's really weird. Like 5 years. 5 years was a huge difference when you were 10 years old, right? So if somebody was 10, you were 10 years old and you knew a 15-year-old, when I was a kid, a 15-year-old was like a giant. Like, whoa, like you saw a 15-year-old, it was like, holy crap, they're huge. They were like adults, you know what I mean? And then when you became 15, a 20-year-old didn't seem as adult, but it still seemed bigger. But then when you're 20 and you see someone that's 25, it's not that big of, you know what I mean? It's not that big of a deal. It's not as, it's not, you know what I mean? And then it starts to diminish as you get older. 30 to 35, 35 to 40, 40 to 45. It's not that big of a deal. At 15 and 10 years, exactly. 10-year-old was just like, and not just age-wise, the physical shape, your physicality, your actual size as a human being. Like you were smaller. You were a smaller person at 10 than you were at 15. And there's that whole growth spurt that happens between that time. It's just really interesting. But so decades would even be even more. That would actually be, because decades, 10 years, right? So 5 years is a huge difference. And so a lot of people talk about a lot of things. Like, so when I got into my 20s, I was so into music and DJing that I missed out on a lot of things. So like I missed out on Pokemon. I never played Pokemon. The first time I ever played a Pokemon game, the first time, and I'm not kidding, the first time I ever played a Pokemon game was Pokemon Go on my cell phone. I had never played a Pokemon phone. At 10, you fit into a locker. Exactly. Exactly. I still have it swirly. Yeah, I played Pokemon. And the only reason I played is because somebody talked me into it. Somebody talked me into it, and I was like, all right, I'll give it a try. Hold on, I'm gonna see something here. I'm gonna do something with the audio. I'm gonna bump it up a little bit here. There we go. Okay, I think that's better. A little bit needed a little bit hotter there. But yeah, so yeah, and the Pokemon games are great. They're great games. I mean, I've never trashed a Pokemon game. I get it. I understand it. Just that when you get to a certain era, there were people that were 5 years younger than me that were playing Pokemon when I was like not even interested, you know? So decades is even pushing it, you know? 10 years is even a lot. So imagine 10 years, imagine 20 years, and the difference between the toys that people played with and toys that people, you know, wanted or sought after. And let's not forget merchandising. So merchandising was totally different too, because blockbuster merchandising like movies and stuff didn't really blow up until the 70s with Star Wars. Like Star Wars is a perfect example of merchandising from movies. Perfect example. If anybody knows about Star Wars, so George Lucas, he didn't think Star Wars was going to be great. He just was so worried about it, and he just thought it was going to be, and the studios also were kind of like, eh. So George Lucas said, fine, you can have all the sales, the movie sales. All I want 100% merchandising. So George Lucas was like, this is 1977. He was like, I want all the merchandising. And now, I mean, think about the merchandising for Star Wars. Now, in 2021, to this day, the merchandising is insane. To this day, Star Wars merchandising is like it's like, what else do you even think matches Star Wars? And we're talking 1977. Since 1977, the merchandising has been just off the chains, off the charts. Still, you know what's funny is I was straightening up my room, and under my bed, I did not realize this. I totally forgot that I had these. Maybe I should go grab them. You know what? I'm gonna go grab them. Hold on a second. You actually might be able to still hear me talk while I walk over here. Yeah, you probably can. All right. Okay, all right, so I totally forgot that I had these. Now I have a couple of other ones. They're in the packages, but I have these Santa Cruz skateboards. And this is from Santa Cruz. This isn't just some rinky dink. This is Santa Cruz. My mic is wonky. Uh-oh. Oh yeah. This is Santa Cruz. Santa Cruz, right? First of all, Santa Cruz is legendary. Jeff Kendall. I mean, think about the people who skated for Santa Cruz, right? It's very dusty. So this is Santa Cruz Star Wars skateboards, and on the back, look at that. I forgot that I even had these. I don't know. I looked under my bed and I was like, oh yeah, I have these. Yeah, Star Wars skateboards. And I have others. So they also released the skateboards in you remember the old bubble packaging that they used to use, I don't know what you call it, but the packaging that they used to use, release the actual figures in? I have a couple that come in packages like that with the hard cardboard back. And then there's this one, there's the Stormtrooper one. Look at that. And they're still wrapped, they're still in plastic. Blister packs, thank you, Hammer Shot. Blister packs, yeah, these came wrapped in plastic. And I don't even remember when I got these. I'm not even sure what these are worth now, but I mean, they're a little dusty because they've been under my bed. But I have a couple of other ones. I think I have a Han Solo one, and they're in blister packs. And I got those just like, I don't know, it was probably a few years ago, maybe about 5 or 6, 7 years ago. They are worth $400, $600. No, they're not. No way. I wish. My mic sounds like I'm across the room. Oh. All right, hold on. Hold on, everybody. Hold on. I'm having mic issues. Hold on. Be right back. There we go. All right, there we go. We should be good now. I didn't realize I still had one piece of Ursa tape. So what I use, the way that I do the microphone is I actually put the lav mic under my t-shirt and then I tape it to my chest. It's used this stuff called Ursa tape. It's what they use. It's what they use in movies and TV shows and all that other stuff. You get it from like photography and all those other things. So it had fallen off and I didn't realize it because the tape that I had was still stuck to my chest. And it was an older piece of tape, but I still had a fresh piece left. So, but anyway, they are listing for, are you serious? Are you serious? I didn't pay that. I can tell you guys right now, I did not pay that much for them. Wow, Star Wars, I'm sitting on money. I am sitting on money, apparently. Wow. And again, these are not the only two that I have. I have several of them. But all that to say is merchandising was kind of, no, you're sleeping on money. Yeah, I was sleeping on me. That's true. Man, I'm gonna have to look this stuff up because I'm not kidding, they're just sitting under my bed collecting dust. They're like literally under my bed. And I'm wondering now that I probably have millions in the house from record, you never know. I don't know, it'd be kind of cool if I discovered that I had something worth several thousands of dollars, but it would be kind of cool. But I don't know, we'll see. I will tell you this, I don't know, I might have a boba one. I don't know. Should I go check? Should I go look and look at the blister ones? I don't know. Should I go look? I'll go look and see what I have. Because I got the Stormtroopers and then I have R2-D2 and C-3PO. 1,000? Hold on, let me see which other ones I have. Hold on. Okay, I thought I had another one, but I do have this one. This one's in the blister package. It's Han Solo. So I do have this one. So that's not bad. I don't have Boba Fett, though. I don't think I have Boba Fett. That's kind of cool, though. It's kind of cool, right? That's kind of cool. All right, I'm going to put those right down there. I'm going to keep those out in case I want to look up to see if maybe later find out what they're worth. I never even thought about that. By the way, speaking of Star Wars, I found an old hard drive that had a bunch of pictures. Half of them are gone. I had a hard drive crash, so I lost a bunch of pictures, but I still have a lot of pictures that I took of the, it was 2005, maybe? 2005 or 2006. What's going on, Packet Shipper? Where Star Wars was doing a tour of where they were showing all the props and stuff from the movie. So they were going around to different museums, and it was the last year that they were doing it. And not only was it the last year, it was the last day. So I believe I left work early, drove out to Fort Worth, and I took a bunch of pictures. So I found those pictures totally by accident. I'll put those in the Discord. It's like it has the original Millennium Falcon from the original Star Wars, like the huge one, and then when they went to Empire Strikes Back, they made a smaller one so they could do the whole, go through the asteroid field. But anyway, all that to say is that movies like that, things like that, changed toys and merchandising, as well as several other things that are some of the questions that we talk about. So without further ado, if you guys are ready, we could start this thing. Oh, I don't know. I don't know if any of the picks are worth any money, but I don't know. So you guys ready? You guys ready to start? Start with question number 1. Now, if you looked in the Discord, you may know some of the questions, but we're going to start. If they built a life, yeah, that would be pretty awesome, Bizarre Larry. Hopefully, maybe somebody who lives on the farm and has that kind of has some real estate could possibly that be better even if it worked. But I don't know. All right, let's do this. Here we go. First question. Here is the first question. Are you ready? Question number 1. What was the first toy you remember playing with? What was the first toy you remember playing with? Anyone? Glowworm, D's Games, what's going on? The first toy that you remember playing with. Big Tracks. Wow. Blocks. Fisher-Price Music Box. Whoa, TG Clock 1966. Lincoln Logs. Con, taking it back. Wow, that's 3 years before my time, Kanara. Large Piece Cardboard Puzzles. Tinker Toys. Logs. Little People Farm Set. Tonka Trucks. Just wing it. Fisher-Price Cash Register and Tonka Trucks. Probably Wrestlers. Miss April's is here. What's going on, Miss April's? Viper. Hot Wheels. What's going on, Viper? As for video games, we'll get to video games. Save your answers. We'll get to video games. So it's one of the. So if those of you who don't know, the questions are in the Discord. Is Cheesehead here? Were you able to get that link for the questions? Not sure if you were able to get that link. There's a PDF. Oh my gosh, guys. Remind me to tell you a very funny story that happened today. I actually have to head the story. Okay. The real metal Tonka trucks, yes. And okay, I remember that. There we go. There's the PDF right there. You can grab the questions are right there in that link that Cheesehead has just put in the chat. So the first toys that I ever remember playing with. So this was, if you guys remember, when my mom I had called my mom that night when we were over in the studio, and she told the story about the horse. I didn't include that because some of you already heard that story. Pull behind locomotive that expanded, contracted, and ding. My mother still complains about it. But the first toy that I remember playing was Legos. My first Lego set. I was maybe 3 years old. Wait, what just happened? Harlow Bird, thank you for resubbing. Thank you so much for subbing. Thank you, I really appreciate that. Man, somebody... first of all, let me tell you guys, I'm all about, legalizing it and everything, but I don't partake, and somebody is blazing up right now. It is seeping into my apartment, and it's a lot. Holy crap. Wow. Oh my gosh. I think it's my neighbor. I think it's my new neighbor. Nah, it stinks. It just smells so bad. I don't think it's her. I don't think it's her. I'm pretty sure it's her because I always smell it when I walk out in the hallway. I don't think it's her. You know what the thing is if it was her, we probably wouldn't be calling her Resident Evil. Maybe that's what she needs. Who knows? Yeah, like I'm smelling it. My doors are closed. I might have to put a blanket down under the door again. Like when I do the drumming, I put a blanket down there. But anyway, this was my first set. So at the time that I got this, I was living in Germany. I was just a kid, three. I was about 3 years old. And my mom was teaching me how to read. So she taught me how to read very early on before I was in kindergarten. And I think I've told you guys the story that my dad, maybe one of these days, hey, you're the best around. Your neighbor will be able to chill out for once, maybe. I think I told you guys the story about my dad used to take me out to the barracks when we lived in Germany. And mind you, okay, I know a lot of people when they find out my age, they're like, you don't look your age. So imagine me at 3 years old. I probably looked like an infant, right? 3 or 4 years old. So he would take me out to the barracks and he would bet the soldiers that I could read anything, and sounding out counted. And so my mom bought me, and he would make a lot of money, by the way. My mom bought me this Lego set, and it was my first Lego set. And I remember living in Germany. I remember when we'd walk into our house, you'd walk through the front door, and to the left was a bathroom. To the right was my bedroom. And then if you went down, my parents' bedroom was there. To the other left was the kitchen. And then in this other big room was sort of like the living area and a dining area. And I remember I would sit on this couch or sit at this table for hours on end putting these Legos together, just putting these Legos together. I would make cars, planes, anything. And that was when my parents kind of started to figure out, like, they didn't show me what to do. They just handed it to me, and they're like, hey, maybe this kid knows some things. Maybe he's got some things figured out. But this was the first toy that I remember playing with, and I think it was this exact set. This is actually a set from 1973, I believe. I remember making a Lego house, and I kept it on display for years, those moving doors. I would make cars, and the thing about it is you look up the thing, you see the little wheels. So it was the 70s, and I liked hot rods. So I would put extra blocks on the back wheels so the cars would be, jacked up, So they knew. I had a big Lego table when I was a kid and loved playing Legos. I still do. Obviously, I still do, Miss April's. But this was my first toy. All right. On to question number 2. Are you ready? I got my nephew a Lego table. He loves them already. Question number 2. What's your favorite toy from a cartoon? Favorite toy from a cartoon? I have Lego in my class still. I play. Aw. Gumby! Transformers. Robots in disguise. Transformers, more than meets the eye. G.I. Joe, go Joe. Voltron. Man, I got a story about the G.I. Joe stuff. I got a story about it. Snoopy snow cone machine. Wow. Wait, so Kanara, so I'm wondering, Kanara, so did you have like the Gumby, was it bendable and posable? My grandmother had Time Off Smurfs. I had oh wow. Snoopy Snow, Ninja Turtles, Jim and the hologram dolls. Jim. What was the whole thing with Jim? Was Jim truly amazing or something like that? Cinderella Barbie, Huckleberry Hound, Huckleberry. What did Rapture 1? What did Huckleberry Hound sing in Hello Rapture 1? Was it Clementine? Oh my darling, oh my darling. Wasn't that what he sang? Oh my darling Clementine. Yes, the wires were eventually broken up. Truly outrageous. That's what it was, Swirly. Truly outrageous. Yes. Yeah, I remember Jim. Jim was a pop star. Jim reminded me of the Marvel character Dazzler. I remember I would get them mixed up when I was growing up. She lived, yeah, and then Down to Earth, yeah. She was truly outrageous. My favorite toy was from, does anybody remember the TV show Mask? Does anybody remember this show? Rainbow Bright and Sprite dolls? Does anybody remember this? Remember Mask, right? You had the Camaro, Bizarre Larry. Okay, all right. So hold on a second. Let's see if we can get this to work. Hold on. So right there, the Camaro. Remember the Camaro? The doors opened, and what was the main guy's name? Like Tracker or something like that. And it flew. It was like a Camaro. You had the truck, and then like this was like the side view. Yes, and it fired a rocket. What's up, Loops on Air? Yes, dude. I absolutely love this cartoon. I absolutely love this cartoon. It was just like, it was so, oh my gosh, yes, Mask. It was called MaskCon, M-A-S-K. And it stood for, hold on, I need to look up what it stood for. I forgot. Yeah, and this was just one of the mini cars that, there were several. There was like a truck. Remember the motorcycle? That there was a guy who rode a motorcycle, but then it turned into a helicopter. Like, hold on, let me see. So let me get the full reference here. Let's see, Mask, cartoon, 3rd gen Camaros. So you like those, huh? Those were good. I had a friend that had one. One of my best friends. Actually, I grew up with him. He had that style. So it was 1985 to 1986, animated television series produced by DIC Enterprises, and it says it was based on the Mask action figures, but I remember watching the cartoon before the toys came out. And so it was like Matt Tracker, Hondo McLean, Dusty Hayes, Bruce Sato. Like, they had cool names. Nash Gorey, Bruno Shepard, Boris Bushkin, and then Maximus Mayhem. Oh man, and all of them had like different cars. It was sort of basically what it was. It was basically like you take G.I. Joe and then you mix it with Transformers. That's basically what it was, right? Except for it wasn't full on robots. But you take and if you may not remember this, it totally sound like wrestling names unique. You guys may not remember this, but we talked about several Yogomi Shōmi. A while back, we had the animation, the cartoon episode, and we had the specific one was for television only. We did one that was television, and one was cinemas. I talked about Mask during that episode, and I showed a trailer, actually. The Camaro was called Thunderhawk. Yep, that's right. Driver was Spectrum. That's what it was. Yes. But yeah, I loved the show, and I loved the toys. That was the only toy that I had. I wanted the whole collection, but I never got it. My parents weren't going to spend that kind of money on me. They just weren't going to do it. I mean, can you blame them? Toys were, I mean, $50 for a pair of sneakers in 1980 was insane, right? That was a lot. For like a $50 pair of Nikes in 1980, you're like, dude, are you rich? And you're like, yeah. kind of. But now, $50, like Vans cost $50, you know what I mean? It's pretty crazy. So toys back then, you know, which we're going to get to, you can invest your own, that's true. That's true. All right, let's go to question number, which one are we on? Number 3. What was your favorite toy from a TV show? Now, this is different from cartoons. We had the cartoons, then we had TV shows, and they had toys from TV shows. What was your favorite toy from a TV show? This was actually really tough for me. Oh, Bizarre Larry. That's one of the stories I'm going to tell about the aircraft carrier. That's one of the stories I'm going to tell. I'll tell that later. Alf Puppet, Power Rangers. Oh, Lordy, $6 Million Man, Kanara. Okay, hold that. Just hold that thought. Kanara, General Lee, Remote Control General Lee. Wait, Utility Belt, Maskatron. What's up, Panzer? Pokedex. I had Gumby for that one. It was the claymation type. Oh, yeah. I remember Gumby. Knight Rider and Dukes of Hazzard's Go Key cars. Oh, nice. Definitely Power Rangers. Is it one you had or wanted? It could be either one, Miss April's. Whichever is your favorite. Yeah, Gumby was dope. I remember Gumby. You know what's funny is, what's really crazy, as I was actually introduced to Gumby by Eddie Murphy on Saturday Night Live. Yeah. I know that's probably really terrible, but Muppets do count. Muppets count. I liked Pokey, yeah. What, didn't he talk like this? I don't remember how he talked, but I still know the whole theme song from Gumby. I always wanted a Care Bear when I was younger. The Care Bear, yeah. Care Bears care. I had some Pee Wee Herman toys, really? I always wanted the Blue Thunder, Just Wing It, a Blue Thunder helicopter, man. Oh, dude. Okay, so first of all, the show for me was Battlestar Galactica. So I absolutely loved the show because I was a big Star Wars fan. I'm not kidding. Back when we talked about sci-fi or something a while back, I remember the day that I remember opening up TV Guide. And I remember seeing, and in the Yogomi Shōmi that I did, I still have all the assets from that. The exact ad that was in, it was in TV Guide. I found it, and it was like starting. It hadn't even started yet. It was like basically Battlestar Galactica's coming, and I remember looking at that picture as a kid. I was 8, 9 years old. And my eyes were like, oh my gosh. Like, I was like, I'm so here for this. Like, it was mind-blowing. I'm like, they're going to make this for TV? And all I could think of was Star Wars, because I was so absolutely loved Star Wars TV Guy, right? Classic. The Cylons. So I did not have the Cylon. I wanted the Cylon Raider. I wanted the Cylon Raider ship. But, however, I was able to get the Viper. I was able to get a Viper. I was very lucky to get the Viper. And I don't know if you know this. So there was another show that came out that was called, you guys, some of you remember this because it's actually very, very old. It's an old serial, but then they brought it back in the 70s, 80s, I think. It was called Buck Rogers in the 25th Century. Surely you guys remember that. Remember Twiggy? Hey, Buck. Remember that old robot guy, and then they had that little smart thing by him? Remember that? So all the production and stuff for Battlestar Galactica, the same team, Dr. Teopolis, thank you, Panzer, the same team that produced Battlestar Galactica, that did all the effects, did the same effects for, Linda Gray. Oh my gosh. Let's not, okay. Focus. The same people that did the special effects for Battlestar Galactica did the exact same effects for Buck Rogers. If you ever go back and you watch the shows, you'll always see there's the scene where there's a plane flying and then there's one in the distance, and you'll see this scene where they just peel off and they fly like this. They do the exact same thing in Buck Rogers, except the ships were a little bit different. They did use a lot of the same, like, bigger ships and a lot of the same sets. I wanted the Buck Rogers one because I actually like the Buck Rogers Starfighter more than the Viper because Buck Rogers came out afterwards. Buck Rogers, Linda Gray is another topic. Yes, absolutely. Buck Rogers came out after Battlestar Galactica, and I think after Battlestar Galactica ended, the first one. But the same team worked on it. And I remember watching the show and like, that's exactly how they do the stuff in, but I didn't care because I liked it. So I really wanted the Buck Rogers Starfighter, but I wasn't able to get it. But I was able to get the Viper from Battlestar Galactica. I don't know. It was one of my favorite toys. It's actually one of my favorite toys. Pegasus. All right. So question, which number are we on? Question number 4. What's your favorite toy from a movie? What's your favorite toy from a movie? And so, this is interesting because X-Wing 5. Oh, did you have the Kenner one, like the first gen 5? You had the AT-AT lightsaber. I knew I was going to see a lot of Star Wars stuff. Again, because Star Wars changed the Guns of Navarone Mountain. Oh, wow. Mace Windu lightsaber. Yep, with red lasers. Snow Speeder from Empire, first gen. You had an E.T. doll, Swirly. You had a Talk Boy? I remember the Talk Boy. The action figure from the Poseidon Adventure. Oh, my gosh. I remember going to the movies to see that. Robbie the Robot. Now, that's a classic Rapture. That is a classic. Robbie the Robot. So when I turned 8, this was the year that Star Wars came out. I turned 8 years old after Star Wars. Star Wars came out May. I turned 8 later that year, and I had my birthday at McDonald's. And I have pictures of this. I'm going to go see my family pretty soon. My mom has pictures of this. So I had my birthday at McDonald's. My friends showed up, and I got a bike. I got this green bike. It was pretty cool. Yes, that's my birthday. Trying to think, who was it? I think it was my friend Dustin Straight who gave me these. So remember, I lived by a bunch of rich kids. Pill Hill is what we called it. A lot of kids of doctors and stuff. So we called it Pill Hill. And so Dustin Straight shows up, and he was so kind and so tasteful to give me my first Star Wars toy ever. He actually gave me 2. He gave me Darth Vader, and he gave me Han Solo. But Darth Vader was cool because it had the removable like cloak, and it had his lightsaber that you just you move the thing. You can see the little lever under there. You just move that, and then the lightsaber would retract and all that stuff. That was my first Star Wars toy. Now, my mom could still have these toys. She could still have them. I don't know. My mom, look, I love mom. You guys know how much I love my mom. However, and she's probably going to, well, she's not watching, but she's probably going to be really upset that I'm sharing this with you. But her garage situation, it's really bad. It is really bad. It is, my mom doesn't throw anything out. And I think she got it from my grandfather. I'm not kidding, Hammershot. There's no room for cars, and it's a 2-car garage with separate doors. There's no room for cars. So this toy could be in there somewhere. It could be in there somewhere. So I don't know. I know it's really bad. It's really bad. But okay, so we're on to question number 5. What toy did you own that was based on a real person? Now, what this means is, right? This is not, what I mean by this, hey, DJ Hero, what's up, dude? This is based on an actual person. It could be a celebrity. It could be a sports person, a sports celebrity. It could be anybody, not an actual character. So the idea was evil. Okay, see, there we go. Evel Knievel. Evel Knievel. That's a good one. What? Unique? You had Jordan? Hanging tough. Oh, gosh. Just singing that hurts my heart. Evil. I figured I'd see a lot of Evel Knievel. You know what's really wild about that is I never had Evel Knievel toys. All my friends had them. I don't know why my parents never bought me one. Stunt cycle. You put the bike on. Yeah, I remember that. Yeah. I don't know that I had anything fitting this category. Yeah. It was a tough one, Swirly. It was a tough one. It was like, and I thought it was such a unique ask as I was looking for toys, as I was looking for these questions, and I thought that's a pretty unique one because I started running across certain things, and I was thinking about the toys that I had. And K-Baby asked the question, and this does count. Sports toys do count. So sports count. Sports celebrities. What's up, T-Bone? Celebrities, sports celebrities, all that stuff counts because, it's not like I was 7 and I was, first pick draft for, the Cowboys or anything. So if I had a football, it was a toy. Wrestlers kind of count though. Wrestlers, I know they kind of play characters, but they're still, they kind of count. For me, it was my Reggie Jackson baseball mitt. I had a Reggie Jackson baseball mitt. You guys know I love Reggie Jackson. He was my hero when I was a kid. New Kids on the, wait, they had New Kids on the, oh my gosh. Yeah, mine was Reggie Jackson. I had his glove. I was actually sort of into sports growing up. I was big into football. I was a fan of Reggie Jackson because I just thought he was cool. I was really big into football growing up, like as far as like pro football. I didn't and still don't care about college teams. I don't care about pro teams at this point. I don't even care about sports as much as I used to. But growing up, it was like I really, truly loved football. Cowboys, loved the Cowboys. I loved the Dolphins, the Steelers. Who else? The Bears. I liked a lot of the teams. Seahawks, Reggie Jackson, but it was something about Reggie Jackson. He had a candy bar named after him. Remember the Reggie bar? I just thought he was just so cool, and he made me like the Yankees. I've liked the Yankees ever since, and then now you guys know that it's extended part to really just loving New York City. But hey, DJ gifted this sub to T-Bone. Thank you so much, dude. I appreciate that. Thank you. DJ, how you doing, man? NASA. Yankees are like, we get a shout out for NASA? What's going on, man? What is up, dude? Long time. It's good to see you, man. You had a friend, tech fan. Oh, tech fan. Yeah, I didn't get into college sports because I didn't play college sports, and I went to a college that ended up getting rid of their football team. So, it wasn't for me. Plus, I was in marching band. I was the drummer in marching band. That was my thing. So, but anyway, this was the one toy because I was 7, 8 when I had this. That Randy Macho Man Savage. Been AFK from streaming and everything. Oh, that's good. Well, take a good break. A break is healthy, man. I'm doing pretty good. But I was so ecstatic to have this. And again, this is something that my mom might still have in the garage. Like I never threw this stuff away. So my mom could still very well have this glove somewhere in the garage. I don't know. My mom, who knows? My mom could be sitting on millions right now, and she doesn't even know it. I don't know. Anyway, all right, we're going on to question number 6. Oh man, this is the story I have for this is so like, what toy did you ask Santa for but never receive? What toy did you ask Santa for but never receive? The aircraft carrier, I knew it. Everybody asked for that. A flute and kangaroo. I had such visions. An Apple IIe, man. A pogo stick. Your parents wouldn't buy you a pogo stick? Were they afraid you were going to hurt yourself? Yeah, everybody wanted that flag. Power Wheels Corvette. Oh man, Death Star playset. You know what, Panzer? Somebody text a picture of that to me just 2 weeks ago. But she had nothing to do with this. It was totally just, she was asking me about it. Old friend of mine, Stretch Armstrong, Transform Unicorn, the game Operation, remove the funny bone. Teddy Ruxpin. Oh, HO race car track. So let me tell you the story about the thing that I asked for, okay? I asked for this, and I know I asked for it because it was on my list. I asked for it, and I didn't get it. And that toy was the Star Wars. I wanted the Star Wars blaster. I wanted specifically this blaster. Max Music, what's going on, dude? Good to see you, man. What's up, dude? I wanted this so bad, and I put it on my list. So imagine my surprise. What's up, Tex Country? Imagine my surprise and happiness when I wake up on Christmas Day and I open a package that has my name on it. And what's in there is this blaster. However, my parents were like, oh no, that's not for you. That's for your brother. So my brother got this toy. It was on my list, and I couldn't say anything. I couldn't, what am I going to say? What? I asked for this. I know he didn't ask for it. And you just didn't argue with my parents. It's just not something that just happened. And to make matters worse, my brother was incredibly selfish. My brother and I get along so well right now. I love my brother. We have names for each other. I call him, his name's Odell. I call him Schmodell, and he calls me Einstein, as in Frank Einstein. We love each other. But growing up, we had an interesting relationship. I'll just leave it at that. And he would never let me play with this thing. And we had to share a room. And I would look, thank you, Swirly. Thank you, Hammershot. We had to share a room. So I had to always look across the room at these toys that I couldn't play with. The one that I asked for, somehow Santa got it mixed up and sent the toy to him. Who knew? I don't know. This was before the internet too, so I guess I can give Santa a break. He wasn't. He probably wasn't as organized. I'm sure now he's using the cloud. He's got everything but back then, it was so. What's up, B-Boy Will? It didn't matter what else I got the rest of that day for Christmas, knowing that I opened it because it had my name on it. So I opened it. Think about it. I opened it, and I'm like, yes, this is exactly. And they're like, oh no, that's not yours. What? So, was that around the time it was? Yes, I think it was 5. I think it was. I have not shared it with my mom, Kanara. I never did. I just kind of let it go. I did. I kind of let it go. However, there is this question. What's your favorite toy that you asked Santa for that you did receive? What's the best toy? I wasn't bad. I might have been bad. NES, nice. Your favorite toy that you asked Santa for and you did receive? My skateboard and Vans shoes. Next suspension car at Nintendo 64, Viper, wow. I remember when I got mine, but I had moved out by then. Digitech RP500 guitar pedal, nice. Sega Genesis, Legos, Game Boy Color, nice. Cabbage Patch Kid. Does anybody remember, a Slave 1, Panzer, did you get it? Are you serious? You got one of those? Cabbage Patch doll, his name was Clifford. TCO Cliffhangers, Bizarre Larry. Bizarre Larry, hang on to that. Well, Cliff, hang on to it. What's up? The quill. What's going on? Hang on to that, Bizarre Larry. Hold that thought. Real roller skates. You got a Nash skateboard. I remember Nash skateboards. I remember those. Okay, so mine, and mind you, this kind of makes sense, right? This kind of totally makes sense considering we're talking me here. Mine was the Casio PT1 keyboard. I wanted this little keyboard so bad. We used to go into like Montgomery Ward's or TG&Y or Kmart, and they would have all the keyboards set up, and I would just sit there and like turn the drums on, and then like just play, like make little beats. And so I had to get one. I was already playing piano, so it kind of made sense. So I would just play with this. You remember Canary? You remember TG&Y, right? TG&Y, classic. Yeah, I grew up with TG&Y. Totally grew up with TG&Y. You had a red one, just wing it? Yeah. So yeah, I had, this was the first keyboard. My brother and I shared it. I asked for it, but my brother and I shared it. And I played mine like all the time. I would listen to songs on the radio and learn the keyboard lines back then. And yeah, so this was my favorite toy. And this actually lasted a long time. You had to change the batteries. Old Tonka trucks. TG&Y was more like a department store. TG&Y like was competed with like Kmart and things like that. It was, and Montgomery Ward's was more like JCPenney. Montgomery Ward's actually lasted quite a while. It lasted all the way to, I think, the 2000s, and then it all went away. But Tonka was made to last, no doubt about that. All right, so you remember Ward's? Yeah, I remember Ward's too. All right, number 8. So speaking of okay, so this is really funny. What was your favorite color when you picked your toys? What was your favorite color when you picked your toys? Blue. Con was blue. 5 was blue. Red. Do you need to ask me this? Orange, blue, red, blue. Lots of blues. Red. Okay. All right. We get some reds in there. It seems like blue and red are the main colors, which is really, that's really interesting. Green. Okay. You don't think you had one, Swirly? Probably green. Huh. I wonder why, Cheesehead. I wonder why. Rapture, blue. Yeah. Red. You had tons of Ninja Turtles. You didn't have one? Montgomery Ward's is still around, mostly online mail order. Oh, they are still around. Ah, pink probably, pink. So for me, when I was growing up, I'm not sure if my mother designated the colors or what, but my color was red. So, and one toy that I specifically remember, and we were just talking about Tonka toys. So I remember one particular toy that we got. My brother and I both got one. It was the Tonka, I believe it's called a Fun Buggy or something like this. Now this is a picture of one that I found that it's pretty old, but I have this exact toy. My brother had the blue one, so I had the red one. I had the blue one, and I don't know if you remember this toy, but as a kid, this toy was actually pretty big, and you could stand behind it. Yeah, you could stand behind it, put your hands on the top area, and push it around. Remember how big this was as a kid? Like, it was pretty big. You had a blue Tonka toy? Yeah, I remember. I got this roughly, we were young, in the 70s. And I remember how tough this thing was. And I mean, you got to remember, these things were made of metal. Like, they were built to last. They were made of metal. I got the red one. My brother got the blue one. And I'm not kidding. Like, you could stand behind it, and you would put your hands on the top part and just push it, and it would be like you were driving it. It was pretty big. I mean, if I remember correctly, it was pretty big for a toy, and it was all, the whole thing was metal. I remember it lasted forever. I'm not sure what happened to the ones we had, but I don't ever remember them like breaking. If anything was going to break, it would be like the plastic wheels or something like that. But it was a really cool toy. Back when they made toys to last and it wasn't all about, I mean, I guess, I don't know. They're in the garage. They probably are swirly. I'm not, all the toys back then, they were, right, Panzer? They were. All the toys back then were metal. All right, now we're on to question number 9. What's your favorite building toy set that wasn't Lego? Building toy set that wasn't Lego. There's so many. There's so many. Tinker Toys, Connects. I was going to say Connects. Remember? Oh, con. I never got Connects. I wanted them. Lincoln Logs. See, I had Lincoln Logs. Erector. My cousin had Erector. I never had Erector. Constructs. I remember Constructs. Tinker, Lincoln Logs. Erector set with a DC motor. See, that's what I always wanted, Cheesehead. I never got it. Capsella. I never had Capsella. The favorite building toy set that wasn't Lego. For me, you had robotics. Oh, I remember that. For me, people have already called it. It was Tinker Toys. It was Tinker Toys for me. And I will tell you also that the extra long, so see the extra long sticks? When I really started to get into drumming, I would put the orange plastic things on the end of those extra long red sticks and use them as play drums. I'd hit my pillows. Those are my early drum days. True story. True story. Tinker Toys, Lincoln Logs. Yeah, I remember Lincoln Logs. I learned to use my dad's fishing knife to make custom sticks. He was not amused. Now that I see that pic, I remember. Yeah, Jedi Spidey, right? I think a lot of people had these. Okay, I was like, where there's a will, there's a way, right? I would turn those sticks into arrows. Well, they did have like little, so this kit doesn't show remember they used to have these fins. This kit here doesn't seem to have the fins, but it used to have these fins that you could put in the slots and make like windmills and stuff like that. But mine came in the silo little cylinder container there. Like I called it a silo back then, but mine came in that thing, and it was cool. That was the thing that I had back then. Yeah, the green plastic fins, exactly, 5. They were like green, and you would put them in the ends and everything, and yeah, it was cool. I remember those. All right. Question. No, memories, right, Jedi? Question number 10. What was your favorite doll/action figure? Favorite doll/action figure. Because this can go both ways. A doll can be an action figure, an action figure can be a doll. Bionicles. Oh, you had Duke? Boba Fett, man. He-Man. Blueberry Muffin. My brother absolutely loved strawberry, what was his name? Strawberry Shortcake. Full-size G.I. Joe with the real hair and the Kung Fu grip. Yes. Transformers. G.I. Joe with the Kung Fu grip. There it is. G.I. Joe. I remember those commercials, man. Oh, this question brought back memories. Ray DeSoto and Johnny Gage action figure from the show Emergency. Wow. I mean, Kanara, I actually remember that show. I know you're older than me, but I remember Luke Skywalker. Okay, so Jedi, I actually had that. That's another figure that I had. I had Luke Skywalker in the X-Wing suit. That is another figure that I had. Action figure. G.I. Joe. You had a SpongeBob dog that I really liked. Oh, Miss Aprils, why are you so adorable? Seriously. Oh my gosh. Okay, Kanara, I didn't answer your question on purpose earlier. You remember what you asked me, Kanara, earlier? You asked me something. I didn't answer it on purpose. It hurt. I will tell you, it felt like a knife in my side to ignore that question because I felt like I was ignoring you. It hurt. It hurt, but it was worth it. It was worth it. It was worth it. It was a long walk, but it was worth it. $6 Million Man. I had the $6 Million Man toy. This is when I was living in Washington State, Fort Lewis. I absolutely loved $6 Million Man. You had the OGGI, Foot Locker, nice. And I had this one. I wanted the one where he had the chamber thing that he got in, but I got this one. And he had like the engine block, And you remember that you rolled up his sleeves and he had bionics that you could take in and out of the arm? I lost the bionics. I could never get the sleeve back down, his skin, whatever. Yeah, he had the bionic eye. You could look through the back of his eye and see really far. Not really, but hey. And so what I would do with this toy is I would sit in front of the TV, and every time, I remember when I got the toy, right? And I knew when I got the toy, I planned exactly what I was going to do. And I'm like, what I'm going to do is I'm going to sit in front of the TV when the show comes on, and I'm going to have my doll, and I'm going to make the doll do all of the actions that he does on the television show. And I did just that. I literally sat in front of the TV and made the doll do all the actions that he did in the TV show. And it was glorious. It was fun. I loved it. It was great. But this was my favorite. Yeah. No. Yes. Yeah, that's what I did. This is back when I lived in Washington State for a short time. But yeah, that was my favorite action figure. To this day, still one of my favorite action figures. I just thought it was so cool. It was just the coolest. All right. Now we're going on Steve Austin, the $6 million man. Yeah, Steve Austin. Wait. B-Boy Will. You don't know about the $6 million man? Oh my, Lee Majors was the man. He was like the coolest. What was the, wait, hold on. What was the show that was it Fall Guy? Was that the show he came back? Was it Fall Guy? Fall Guy, yeah. That's the show he came back with. All right. Anybody remember Jamie Summers? Remember the Bionic Woman? Okay, what's your favorite analog board game? I know someone in chat who loves board games. At least that's what I gather. Lindsay Wagner, exactly. Monopoly. Sorry, on Con, I really thought you were apologizing for a second there, but then I'm like, oh yeah, that's right, that's a game. Risk. I remember Risk. I was terrible at it. Sorry, The Game of Life. Yeah. Oh, Othello. I loved Othello. I liked Life, but I really liked Othello. You're right. She is in Death Stranding. You're right. Mousetrap. Mousetrap was so good. Undisclosed one. Interesting answer. Battleship. Oh, I love Battleship. Remember when they made Electronic Battleship? Oh my gosh. That was like the epitome of technology at that time. The peak of technology. Axis and Out, or Mousetrap. Mousetrap. I love Mousetrap. The thing about Mousetrap is that I never played the game. The thing about Mousetrap is I never played the game. I would just put the Mousetrap thing together and then set it off. I never actually played the game. I couldn't even, to this day, tell you how to play that game. And the reason, undisclosed one, the reason why I said that was such an interesting answer is because it's my answer. Stratego. Stratego was my favorite board game. I absolutely loved this game. I used to rake my brother over the coals with it. I would just destroy him. But I mean, granted, he wasn't very, he was younger than I was, and obviously my brain was a bit more developed at my age. I mean, that was definitely when 6 years makes a difference. But I did really like this game, and I had to find a photo of the one that I actually had, because they have different versions of it. They made some newer ones, but this is the one that I actually had. I remember that particular cover. I remember the map, and I remember the old that like old 50s like style. But then the pieces what I needed. The pieces, I need to find the one with the right pieces in there. But did he bring? He didn't. No, okay, baby. Trouble with popping. Oh yeah, that's the O. Yes, that's the O. That's the one. That's the one that I had. TYD, the OG version. I always had to play against my dad. No one else wanted to lose. Yeah. So the game that we would play the most in my house, that we would all play, we would play together. Well, I mean, we'd play against each other one-on-one, was backgammon. So my mom would even, and my mom would even sometimes like, Frank, come out on the porch and play backgammon with me. So I would go on the porch and play backgammon with my mother. And that was a game that I was actually pretty good at. I was, you know, and a lot of it is about roll of the dice, but it just wasn't my favorite game. This was my favorite game. And I think a lot, you know what? I think it was my favorite game because I won pretty much all the time, and I thought I was good at it, but I mean, I wasn't playing like super challenging opponents, I guess. Mancala, oh yeah. You played that with your dad? Oh, nice. This was a hard question. There are a lot of great games, and I had to pick one. And I did. So it was Stratego for me. It was. And as much as I love Mousetrap, like I said, I never actually played Mousetrap. I just put the thing together. I never played the game. Okay, now, number 12, which board game did you love that required batteries? Operation. I knew that was going to pop up. Remove the funny bone. Concentration. Bed bugs. Oh, man. Electronic football game. Okay, I remember that. Wait, just swing it. Wait, was it the one that you turned on and it vibrated and the players moved around? Or was it an actual handheld? Hot Shot Basketball. I remember that. Uno Attack. It was? I remember those. We had those. Just oh, the vibrating table. Perfection. I remember Perfection. I remember that game. Wow, this is bringing back some memories. And Bed Bugs? Oh, man. Oh, wow. So for me, the game that I liked that required batteries, Simon. That's a really good one. Simon's a good one. That came up when I was researching stuff for this. The Simon game popped up so many times. It was like Simon, but instead of 4 buttons, it had 8, and they were different colors. So it was more difficult. Dream Phone. Oh, I remember Dream Phone. I didn't play it, but I had it. My game was, does anybody remember this game, Dark Tower? Anybody remember this game? This game was so cool. The thing about this game is that I would play this game by myself. I could totally play by myself because it was like a matter, you know, you could kind of play. Yeah, it was. But your friend had it. I liked it because it was kind of like it would create these adventures when you press the buttons. I can't remember exactly how it played, but it was so cool. Clue, that's a classic. I think I have. No, I bought Clue and then I gave it away. I gave it away during the pandemic. I had all these puzzles and games. I don't know if I don't. Yeah, I don't have any of them. I gave them all away during the pandemic last year. I had puzzles and games I hadn't even opened yet, and I bought them in 2019, thinking we were going to play them, and I didn't. So I gave them all away to anybody who wanted them, and I just put them out in the hallway, and people took them. But Clue was one of those games because I hadn't played it in forever, and I wanted to play it again. I sold it at Toys R Us, but I loved it. You have Clue in your collection now? No. See, Just Wing It. I never got into D&D because I don't know. I couldn't hang out with my friends to play it or something. And so this was sort of my way of kind of doing kind of D&D stuff, was playing this game here. I liked the whole idea of D&D, the fantasy and all that stuff, but I never played it. I never got into it. I thought it was really cool. And it makes me think about Captain Robert and his his streams and stuff that he does with a lot of D&D. But yeah, I never got into it, unfortunately. Okay. Now it's time for question number 13. What was your favorite outside toy? With a candlestick. Your mom's favorite was Scrabble. Oh, yeah, Scrabble was good. Swirly Starry Sky. I remember the Dungeons & Dragons cartoon. It was actually one of my favorite cartoons. We talked about that cartoon, one of the previous ones. Big Wheel. So, all right, I like this. We're going Tonka Trucks. Power Wheel, Big Wheel. Oh, man. The Green Machine. Did you guys have the one with the handbrake so you could do the slide out? Because I remember that. I remember that was one of the features. You'd have that handbrake. But the problem the problem with big wheels is that stompers. The problem with big wheels is that the wheels were plastic. So the more you rode and the more you did it, and the more you did the slides and you'd start wearing holes into the wheels, slip and slide. So mine was my Hutch Expert Racer. This was the last BMX bike that I ever owned, and I absolutely love this bike. I love this bike. I had a Hutch Expert. This is a Pro Racer. I had a Pro Racer, Expert Racer, and I was big into BMX. Kid you not, I have a Pinterest. I'm not ashamed to say this. I have a Pinterest page that's nothing but 1980s BMX. That's all it is. I just keep putting BMX photos. I love BMX. We're 2 for 13 so far. Yeah, well, not bad. Not bad, considering. My toy wooden swords, we would make them on a bandsaw with your dad. Oh, that's... Yeah, I have a Pinterest page. It's... I have one where I put like... one is like all comic book stuff. Like comic books, comic book like manga, like superheroes. I keep pictures and images of that there. And then I have one that's cars. I like cars, like Porsches, Audis, race cars, things like that. And then one's guitars. One's all guitars, like all kinds of guitars. And then another is BMX. And I used to, on my wall, in my bedroom, so we didn't have long darts. And I thought about that, Five. Hey, what's up, piano man? Doing pretty good. On my wall, in my room, I actually had, like, I would get BMX Action, BMX Plus, Freestyling Magazine. I would get these magazines, and I would cut out and make these collages on my wall of BMX. I loved BMX. I used to draw it. But this was I would get, and here's the thing, too. Here's the thing, is like back then, you had a Hutch, wasn't a Pro Style, but it was black with gold and light. Nice. Black Lightning, okay. The thing, too, is like I could get on my bike, right? I finished my chores on a Saturday. I could get on my bike at, say, noon, 1, something like that, and just leave the house. Oh, mongoose. I could leave the house for hours, and nobody cared, because they knew I was going to be fine. I was going to ride my bike. I'd ride it all around, all over the place, all over town. Remember, I'm from Lawton, Oklahoma, so it wasn't a huge place, but it was pretty big. But I would ride my bike all over for hours, and then just show up at home and be like, hey, I'm back, It was fun. And a lot of times I would meet up with other BMX riders. We would go to this park that had it had like this park area, but then it had this like ditch that went like sort of like a creek or something that went down. So we would ride down it and then jump out and do like tricks. And then eventually, what's up, Soul Brother Mark? And then eventually, my friend Chris Beaucamp built a ramp. I was in a BMX gang. Built a ramp in his backyard. He built a quarter pipe in his backyard. So his house he lived right across from the high school. So his house was kind of at the top of a sort of a hill. So we would start at the top of the hill, ride down and get all the speed, and then hit that ramp, catch some air, and then come back. So I actually used to do BMX like vertical, like ramps, tricks, and all that stuff. I used to do freestyling and all that stuff. This is the 80s. And then in the 90s, I switched to skateboarding. But I absolutely loved my bike. And I've just been nostalgic lately. So I made a Pinterest of just BMX stuff, Because it's some place you could just keep it and not have a hard drive filled with pictures. You could just keep it there and just go and look at it or add to it every once in a while. So, bar spins. I never had one of those. I remember those, Con. You had I forget what they were called, but it was like that headpiece that went right there that let you turn your handlebars like forever. I never had one of those, but I could do some the gyro, that's what it was called. Yes, but I could do some pretty good tricks. I might still be able to do a few. I don't know if I could do ramps like I did back then, but I might be able to still pull off a few tricks. I'm actually actively looking for a BMX bike. I really am. I'm surprised Kuwahara hasn't come in, but the lawnmower. I used to be able to hold myself up on my handlebars, like body straight out and ride. I used to be able to do that. That was one of my signature tricks that only I could do in Lawton. Everybody was still too scared to do it, but But yeah, those were the days. All right. We are on, yes, question number 14. What was your favorite art, drawing, or creative toy? Favorite art, drawing, or creative toy? So Viper, I'm from Oklahoma. We didn't have a use for I wanted a spirograph so bad, Swirly Star. Actually, you know what? I think I actually did have one. I think we did have one. I think my brother had one. Legos. Yeah, Viper, I'm from Oklahoma. Connects, that's a good one. Boogie boards weren't a thing. It's just funny that you guys say that. I'm going to show you guys something. Since we're being nostalgic. So I want to show you guys something. Hold on, I'm going to go grab something real quick. Something that I bought. I looked this up. I was talking to a friend, and I was like, I wonder if they're still around. And you guys, this nostalgia has really kind of got me thinking, especially since someone just mentioned boogie boards. Oh, light brights. By the way, Swirly Star, the commercial, there's a commercial for light brights, making things with light. I used to love the way that the lady sang the light bright commercial. I did. I love the way I remember hearing that commercial, thinking it was just like, I bet the ladies that sing that are so pretty. But anyway, so you were talking about boogie boards. We're kind of being nostalgic and we're going back, thinking about this. So a few weeks ago, I was talking with my friend, and we were talking about old clothes, that are kind of making a comeback. And so one of the things I thought about was, and this kind of goes with the boogie board thing, Viper. I thought about Lacoste. Like, I used to wear Izod Lacoste in the 80s when I was in high school. And then I was like, I wonder if they still have them. And I looked them up, and they still do. And they're like $100. What's like, whatever. But anyway, whatever. So I also looked up another company that I used to wear. And this kind of goes along with the boogie boards. Remember, I'm from Oklahoma. And so we didn't have waves or anything like boogie boards. I didn't know anybody with a boat. But one of the things that was really big in the 80s, especially, I would like to think that Fast Times at Ridgemont High had a lot to do with it, making the surfer mentality and that surfer vibe very popular, even in a place where there's absolutely no possible way you're ever going to surf. And so one of the clothing lines that was really popular at that time is still around. And I made a purchase. All right, Piano Man. I made a purchase. And let's see if any of you guys remember this. These just came in this week. Does anybody remember this? Look, yes. This is brand spanking new. This is brand new, and it's legit, right? So I was talking to my friend about getting it, and I was like, I want to get it. These shirts look really cool, but I'm like, what if they get here and they're like just like knockoffs, and it says like Gildan on the thing. No, it says OP right there. You can't see it. It says OP right inside there. These are legit OP shirts. So Max Music, this was a very popular brand in the 80s. Ocean Pacific, very popular brand. Which the irony is that it was popular in Oklahoma, in a place that nobody's doing any surfing. So I got two. I got that one, and then I got this one here. I thought I'd test it out. So I got two Ocean Pacific shirts. So I'm ready for summer. I'm ready for totally rad, just swing it. So now that the shirts are legit, I'm going to get a few more. Oh yeah, OP was a thing in Canada? That's good to know. And so I'm going to get a few more. I was just like, I do remember Hypercolor shirts. Those were made by Genera. And like if you touch them, you wore Ocean Pacific, Wisconsin. My point exactly, undisclosed one. Like in places that nobody's surfing, but boy, and Jams, remember Jams shorts? All that stuff was really popular back then. So I those showed up this week, so I'm kind of excited to bust those out this summer. I'll have them ready for summer. I think they're kind of cool. I need to get some matching Vans or something like that, but I don't know. Mood shirts. There's a Shōmi clothing thing now. Mood shirts. Yeah, I remember you would touch them and they would change colors and stuff like that. I had Genera, but I didn't have any hyper color. Has those mood shirts? Really? Who makes them? You're the best around. Do you know who the brand is that makes them? Jinko jeans. Well, Jinko jeans were like the 90s. Like they were the 90s. That was like the whole rave era. I had a few pair. Yeah. I don't think those are going to be coming back, but I could be wrong. United Colors of Benetton. Oh, I remember Benetton. But it just showed where you sweat. I'm back. Just had to reboot my Mac. Okay. I remember I used to work at the Buckle. We had a when it was called Brass Buckle. I used to work at Brass Buckle. I got fired for stealing. There's a story behind this. I got fired for stealing, but I didn't get told that that's why I got fired. So one day I was there on my day off. So me being the creative person, I'm the creative person. What's up, Neth? And so I would do all the displays in the store. I would do all the drawings. I would create all these displays. And so one day I volunteered to come in on my day off to create one of the displays. And I was wearing, just so happens, I was wearing an Ocean Pacific shirt. This was 88. And a guy that I played indoor soccer with worked with me. His name was Conrad. We're still friends. We're not like close, but we're still connected, you know. We played indoor soccer together. Conrad Jones. It was his shirt. He let me borrow the shirt. So I'm wearing this Ocean Pacific shirt. And apparently, unbeknownst to me, there had been some theft in the store. So because I showed up on my day off with a shirt that it didn't look like I had bought, because they all knew the stuff that we had bought, they were like, Frank stole that shirt. And I came in so think about their thinking. I stole a shirt and then came in on my day off wearing the shirt that I stole to work and not get paid, right? I volunteered. So I get called into the office. Ron, the name of the manager was Ron Rand. I'm not making that up. His name was Ron Rand. And he pulls me into the office and he says, hey, Frank, he gets like, yeah, it would be, I'm just saying that it would be in the company's best interest if you didn't work here anymore. And I was like, what? He's like, yeah. I was like, what did I do? And he's like, I can't tell you. I'm like, what are you talking about? You can't tell me. I'm like, I'm here like working on my day. He's like, sorry. So he would never tell me. So he never told me. So then they had a meeting that Sunday night. And I went up there and I was like, I deserve to know why I got fired. They wouldn't tell me. They locked it. They pulled the gate down. I left. And he told everyone. He told everybody we fired Frank for stealing. And there was this one girl. Her name was Lynn. Lynn. Glasses, long frizzy hair. And he was like, yeah. And everybody was going, I kid you not, everybody stood up for me. They were like, Frank wouldn't steal this. I kid you not. This is what Conrad said. He's just like, dude, Frank is the Buckle. That's what he said. He was like, Frank is the Buckle. And they were like, and Lynn was all, nope, we have proof. Hold on a second. We have proof. We know that he stole. We have proof. I never got the answer. And I tried to go back one more time. Redneck, thank you so much for the bets. Thank you for the bets. So I tried to go back one more time and get an answer. And there was a girl there named Phony Joan. Sorry, her name was Joni, but we called her Phony Joni because she was so fake. And she called me the N-word because I was mad. She called me the N-word right there in the store. She called me the N-word. And she didn't get fired. So I left. I was just like, okay. So I left. Fast forward 2 weeks later. It turns out that the person, Lynn, who was like, we have proof, we have proof, we have proof. It turns out she was the one that was going back through the layaways, and if they had gone past the time and the person hadn't come to pick it up, she would return the layaways and keep the money. Or if she liked the clothes, she would take the clothes. And she would, a lot of soldiers would come into the store, so she would go out with the soldiers to get them to come and buy stuff. And it turns out it was her the whole time. Because I wouldn't steal from a store and then wear the clothes that I stole into the store on my day off. And those clothes, that shirt, the shirt that did it all was an OP shirt. It was Ocean Pacific. That's the shirt that caused the whole thing. I know, isn't that crazy? It was her the whole time. That seems that she was actually working overtime. That's exactly. It was a retail job. I was like 18. I had started the DJ thing. It's all good. It just sucked at the time. But, wait, what were we talking about? We were talking about creative things, right? So mine is Etch-a-Sketch. Mine is Etch-a-Sketch. My creative thing, drawing creative thing was Etch-a-Sketch. How many people had an Etch-a-Sketch? Surely you had an Etch-a-Sketch, right? I did. You took yours apart? You never had one, Swirly? Really? You still have yours? Oh, don't do that. You had multiples? We used it at the babysitter. Remember you just turned it upside down? I had a Max Headroom shirt. Nice. Remember you turned it upside down to clear it and then you just start over? Like, it was cool though. It was really cool. It was kind of like, you shook it more than you drew. But it was like kind of genius, right? You erased it, turned it upside down, shake and erase it, and then start over. It was kind of cool. It was pretty cool. I saw this thing just recently where this lady, she's like some champion Etch-a-Sketch like today, like currently. So, they still make them apparently. All right. Question number 15. Oh, wow, we're halfway through, guys. What toy collection did you have the most of? What toy collection did you have the most of? Uh-oh. What the heck? Did my internet go down? Wait, are we back? Are we back? Everything just shut down for me. Okay, you can hear me now. Okay, yeah, my internet just like everything just kind of messed up. Okay, can somebody do K-Baby? Can you shout out Cheesehead real quick to see? Oh, can we shout out Max Music and see if we can get to make sure the bot's still working? Because I just got a notification. Just heard a sound. Uh-oh, I hear another sound. Oh, I hear another sound. Okay, it's still working. All right, we're good. So, all right, we're good. So this one was, yeah. That was me on purpose. Yeah, I left it on purpose to make sure that was working. So this one was kind of interesting to me because, it looks like the bot is working. Okay, good. That was weird. My internet, like all my Wi-Fi and everything started flashing, and then I heard some stuff happen. So I don't know. It was weird. So the thing about toy collections is I didn't have a bunch of like one thing. Like I had some Hot Wheel cars, but it's like this. My brother got all the toys. I'm just being honest with you. My brother got all the toys. I never got like a lot of collections of stuff. Like I didn't have a whole lot of Star Wars toys or a whole lot of, I never had like a complete collection of something. Like my brother Richard, he did. But the one thing that I had the most of was, for some reason, I had the most of Tonka. I had more Tonka toys. This particular one, I had this. I had the Jeep. I had the bulldozer. I had this little pickup truck. Yeah, remember this one? There was this little pickup truck that kind of looked. It had like a short front. It was actually really cool. It had really cool mags on it. You still have it. I had, what else did I have? I had all these Tonka trucks, like just so many of them. I could set them up and park them together. I would say which is not, you don't really think about Tonka as things that you would want to like collect, but I had more Tonka than I had anything as far as like things that came as, sort of like a collection. I didn't have any G.I. Joe toys, even though I wanted them. My cousin had them, so we would just play with his. I didn't have any He-Man toys. Cousin got those too. And then, you heard the story about the whole thing with the... Yeah, those were all metal too. Like everything was metal. That pickup truck was serious business. Like that thing would get beat up, bent, and it would still be just like you. It's like you didn't even care. Barbie, my sister got board games. I got Barbie. She was mad and would take their heads. Oh, the loader. I remember that 5. I had that. Internet maybe do the same. Possibly. That could have been it. It was kind of weird though. Yeah, it looks like we're back. So that's good. We're good. My camera's looking good though. I gotta admit, that camera looks pretty dang good. Camera's looking pretty good. Okay. What are we at? Where are we at now? 16. What was your favorite puzzle toy? Now this could be puzzles. It could be any kind of toy. It could be Rubik's Cube. It could be anything. The subject and the camera. Why, thank you, Max. Okay, Simon. That's a good one. That's a good one. Rubik's Snake. That was a good one too. That was a good one too, Roofer. I remember that. I had one of those. I would take it to school with me a lot. I know the Rubik's Cube was huge. Jigsaw. I didn't really do puzzle toys, no. They upped the ante. Bop It. Yeah, I remember Bop It. I never had a Bop It. The little blocks the Rubik's Cube, you mean? The Rubik's Cube? Is that what you're talking about? Con? I think. Bop It. I never had a Bop. A wooden labyrinth box. So I like the Rubik's Cube. I thought the Rubik's Cube. Remember when they made like the big Rubik's Cube that had like I don't know how many, 16 blocks on one side? No, the shaped blocks you put into the container. Oh, okay, I know what you're talking about. Twisted metal bars. So Rubik's made, it was all about learning the pattern. What's up, dude, son? Rubik's made another toy at the time that I really, really liked, and it was called Missing Link. Does anybody remember this? And like you would mix it up, and then you would have to put the links back together. It was from the same company. You had this toy? You remember you had this? Yeah. Yeah, yeah. I mean, the thing about this, at the time that this came out, if anybody remembers this the way that I do, when the Rubik's Cube came out, anybody could bring out a puzzle toy and people were fascinated by it. Like the Rubik's Cube kicked it off. But anybody could come up with any kind of toy like that, and it was just fascinating, right? The snake, remember the pyramid one? Oh man. Like, I'm not kidding. I am getting hit with so much nostalgia right now. Like, it's like, man. Like, I remember the pyramid one. I remember going into the stores when I was a kid and seeing the pyramid ones and like, oh my gosh, I want that. Yes, Roofer, the pyramid one. What was the toy with the ball? You had to get through a maze using 2 knobs. Oh, I forget. What was that? Oh, I didn't have the pyramid either, but I knew about it. I would see it in the stores, and I wanted it. Oh, Labyrinth. Labyrinth, that's the one, Mac, that you're talking about. Yeah, I wanted that pyramid. I wanted every one that came out. Like any kind of puzzle. I wanted them all, but I never did get them. I had a Rubik's Cube. I did have a Rubik's Cube, and I had this, and we had a snake. I'm trying to think if we had any other ones. I know we had the snake. I think that might have been it. But yeah, this one I think was my favorite one out of all of them. They had a circle one. They did have a circle. It was like shaped like a biz wire. What's going on? They did. They had one that was shaped like a sphere. They did. You're exactly right, Roofer. They had one that was shaped like a sphere, and it did the same thing. I looked a bunch of these up. They had one. I found one the other day that was huge. It had, I don't even know how many separate things. It was so many. I don't even know how that. I don't even know how that works. How do they even make that work? Was determined. I did. Okay, Max. All right. Which question are we on now? We are on question number 17. Have you ever watched Chris Ramsey? I don't think so. What toy do you wish you still owned? What toy do you wish you still owned to this day? Like a toy that you could have right now and you'd be cool, like still having it the way it was. Oh, Voltron. Yeah, that's a good one. The classic Voltron with the 5 lions. That is a good one, Kanara. He pays thousands for him. Oh, I think I know who you're talking about. That name does sound familiar now. Yeah. Street hockey foosball table. Audrey Stretch Armstrong. I was just talking about that with somebody the other day, text. And she was telling me how she would always, she was texting me, and she said that she would always just tear it open and all the stuff would spill out. Shogun Warrior, Roofer. There we go. We're taking it back. I'm angry I still don't have any more. Oh, Clackers. Oh, I remember Clackers. 12-inch Darth Vader and the original Millennium Falcon. Pong. Man, now Pong, that was like the first game, like the first system that you could have in your home. That was my friend Scott had that. Scooter doll. I had this big Bart Simpson doll. You wish you still had it, really? Checkers bring concussion. Clackers bring concussion. Probably lightsabers. Yeah. Your pinball machines. Hey, does anybody? Speaking of pinball machines, does anybody remember? Did anybody have a pachinko machine like from Japan? Did anybody ever have one of those? Like the big, like they stood like tall, and you put the big like bearings in there, and you know. Did anybody have those? Or you'd shoot. You'd shoot it in, and it would go to the top and do the whole blink, 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 blink. Yeah. ColecoVision Raptor 1. I remember that. I wanted one of those so bad, but I didn't really need one because I had an Atari at the time, but I still wanted it. Yes, like on The Price is Right, Swirly. But we used to have one. Like we got one for Christmas, and it was like legit from Japan and everything. Atari was fun. I remember when my parents bought it. Yeah. But you can get... but it's not working. Hey, what's going on, Harold? You can get I think I have like an old Atari system back there now. My brother gave it to me. The big wheel. You'd rock the big wheel, soul brother Mark, huh? I had an uncle who collected and repaired pachinko machines. You know, I might look into getting one of those. Getting another one. Green Machine, best toy ever. Well, for me, was the Kenner Star Wars. I wish I still had my original Star Wars Imperial TIE Fighter. I wish I still had this, because the cool thing about this was it was pretty big. It was a pretty big toy. It had some weight to it. It had these buttons on the side of the wings, inside the wings, that if you clicked them, the wings would fall off, so it would simulate like it blowing up or crashing. Yeah, it's true, Swirly. It could be in my mom's garage. It very well could be. But yeah, I had this toy growing up, and I don't ever remember breaking it. The top of it, the top of it opened up, and you could put the pilot inside. You have one of those, Miss Aprils? See? I knew there was a reason I liked you, so I'm going to give you an extra hug, so maybe you'll let me play with it someday. So the Darth Vader TIE Fighter was that was the best. That was the best. The wings on it were just so good. Oh, it's the Power of the Force version. I'll still give you a hug. Yeah, so I remember when we got that one Christmas. There was the Christmas of following the whole the blaster debacle, and it was cool because it was pretty big. Like it was a big toy, and then if you clicked the wings, click the buttons on top of the wings would fall off. I know, you're the best around, let me tell you. If you walked into my mom's garage, you would understand how daunting it is to see all that stuff in there. It's a lot. It's a lot. It's a lot. It's a lot of work. And I'm not looking forward to, we're going to have to get in there and clean that thing out. I'm telling you, Hammershot. I'm telling you. There is so much stuff in there. It's like, I'm not kidding. We could just do a show on my mom's garage alone. I should probably hit somebody up about that. It's like, hey, I got an idea for a TV show. Go before your brother and get that gun. Yeah, that's a good idea. That's actually a good idea. Okay. Question number 18. What was your first handheld gaming system? First handheld gaming system. Everybody should know this one. Game Boy, Nintendo Game Boy Advance. Game Boy Advance, Game Boy Color, Electronic Football. Now we're talking Electronic Football. Storage Wars Garage version. Mattel Electronic Football. I hated sports, but it was cool. It was cool, and I want to talk about it. Mr. Professor. That counts. It's handheld. It counts, Swirly. It totally counts. It totally counts. Techno Football. Tiger Electronics. I remember Tiger, like the handhelds. I remember those, man. I remember. Which ones were the Tiger ones? Which one were the ones that were really small and it was all like liquid crystal? Which were those the Tiger ones? They were real small, but they had like these games that were similar, they were very similar to Game & Watch, but so how many people remember? So first of all, let me show you my first one. And my first one was Mattel Electronic Soccer. This was the first one that we ever owned. But we ended up getting the football one. But how many? It was the same company that made them, right? So remember the football one, right? Mattel Electronic Football. It was white. And you just ran until you got tackled, or remember that. But then they came out with the second one that was green, and they allowed you to run backwards. Do you remember that? And you remember you could pass, you could throw a pass. Remember that one? Yeah, the basketball one looked just like this, by the way. You had the baseball and the basketball. Yeah, we just had the soccer one, and then we ended up getting the football. I want to say we had a different basketball one. I think we had a basketball one that was like sort of like a small upright type one. Yeah, remember the green one came out, and then it was like, oh my gosh, you guys, you can run backwards. And then like you could pass the ball. Yeah, that was cool. And it was terrible. It was really terrible. It was exactly, we could run backwards. Oh my gosh. And the thing was, it's like it didn't even look like players, right? It was just it was red blips on the screen, like a little red blip. That's all it was. That's all it was. It was just like a little red little dash that you moved around the screen. That's it. There was nothing. You never owned one? Yeah, my friends had most of them. But you, in your head, back then, you were playing football. You were playing a handheld football game because it says football or soccer in this case right on the thing, so it's got to be soccer. But you didn't care that it was literally just a little red light. It had no shape, no form. Meanwhile, you could go to arcade. Hold that thought, Hammer Shot, because the next Yogomi Shōmi is going to be over video games, and we will be talking about arcade games. But yeah, so my first handheld was this exact system right here, the Mattel Electronics Soccer. This was my first ever handheld game that we had that was like, you know, a true like handheld game, and it was fun. I played the heck out of it. Couldn't play it enough. All right, question number 19. What toy did you and all your friends have and played together with? What toy did you and all your friends have and played with together? Skateboards, that's a good one. Nerf guns. Can a guitar be considered a toy? I guess, Max. Skipping ropes. I mean, I guess. I don't know if we could, I don't know if that's a toy per se, but baseball stuff, Star Wars racetrack, Hot Wheels, the tracks. So you know what, 5, that's funny you mentioned that. So 5, I used to go on the side of my house. We had this big slab of concrete. It was we had like a storm shelter thing that was under the ground. We never got in it because it was always filled with water. Like it was literally filled with water to the top. But on the side of the house, we had concrete that covered that thing. And so I would go over there and I would draw roads. I would draw all these roads and draw this whole city in with chalk, and then drive all my Hot Wheel cars and stuff, or Matchbox cars on that. So yeah, I used to do that. Internet's down? Oh, you're back. Okay. Double Dutch, Lego, jumping ropes. Nith, you played Lego with your friends? That's pretty cool. I never played Lego with my friends. Okay, has anybody heard the news? That they are making, and I'm not making this up, they are making a Rock'em Sock'em Robots movie, and I think what's his name is what's the guy from Fast and the Furious? What's his name? Everybody used to say I look like him. That's what I thought, Hammer Shot. Like, didn't they do that with Real Steel? It's exactly what I thought. They already did this. What's that? Vin Diesel. Yeah, I think Vin Diesel's supposed to be in it. Oh my gosh, Rock'em Sock'em Robots. Yeah, they're going to make a movie. Rock'em Sock'em Robots. All right. For me, it was a hacky sack. My friends and I, we all had hacky sacks, and we would get together and play with hacky sacks. Yeah, I wasn't too bad. I could do it whole. I could volley it pretty well, and then I could jump up and hit it. I could kick under my leg. Yeah, Real Steel. I saw Real Steel. I liked it. It was pretty good. Yeah, it was all right. But this was the toy back then in the 80s anyway, that all my friends had, and we would bring them to school. And remember I don't know if you ever had one, but when you first get it, it's like, it's very stiff. And you gotta beat it up, you gotta throw it around, you gotta you gotta make it to where it's like, soft and, kind of like, sort of pliable, I guess you could say. And then that way, yeah, because if they're too hard, then they just bounce all over the place. You gotta make it nice and soft. And so that was the game. Yeah, for stalls, exactly. Or catching on your back. And schoolyard stuff, tetherball. Oh yeah, I was terrible at tetherball. Terrible. I never understood how to play tetherball, to be honest with you. Never understood it. I never understood how to play it. So that would make sense why I would get just beat mercilessly every time I played. I was terrible I had tetherball. I never understood the rules. I think people knew that I didn't understand those rules. That's probably why they beat me so bad. Hungry, hungry hippos. Super Bowl. Okay, question number 20. What was your favorite toy from Japan or Japanese culture? There's a reason why I asked this question. Because there were so many toys. Mach 5. There were so many toys from Japan back in the day. Voltron, the lions. Yeah, we used to have hacky sack circles every weekend. Oh yeah, tetherball. Oh, Voltron. Okay. What's up, Axeman Ace? Good to see you come in. Power Rangers. What else? Anybody else? Raiding from Shogun Warriors. 5. Okay, 5. Look, dude. This is who I had this. I had this toy. I had Radiant, and here's what's crazy. Here's what's so crazy. So 2012, I'm working at this company. A friend of mine, a guy who works there, he comes up to me and he says, "You need to read this book because I think it's right up your alley." And he hands me this book, and I let it sit on the shelf and collect dust for a while. I just let it sit. I never read it, right? I finally read it. The name of the book was Ready Player One. And raiding was one of the references that he talks about in that book. And I'm like, what? Like, there are so many references in that book like that I've never talked about with anyone, and he mentions them. And this was one of them. I'm like, what the heck? How did he know? He wrote that book for me. I'm convinced. So it wasn't a transformer, right? So it was sort of type. Yeah, it was sort of transformer type. So basically, right? So in the chest right there, if you see in the chest, right there, wait, I'm pointing this way. There we go. If you see in the chest there's a yellow piece. That was a plane. If you click the back, the plane shot out. And then you could play with the plane by itself. The fist would fly off. My brother had, I forget which one my brother had. My brother had another one. My friend Jason, who I do a lot of work with, he actually still has some of these in his studio. But this is the one that I had, and it's still to my day, it's one of my favorite toys that I've ever owned. It actually is one of my favorite toys that I ever owned. With subtitles, yeah. The mask guards was shit. Yeah, this was such a cool toy. And it was tall. Like, it was big. Like, it wasn't just like, it stood really tall. Especially if you're a kid, it was like tall. Like, it wasn't just like some little like 12-inch doll. It was tall. It was a big toy, and it was so cool. It was really one of the coolest toys. Like, when I think about memories of the toys that I had and the toys that I liked the most, this is one that always pops up in my head. I really, really did like this toy. Now this is a toy I don't think is in my mom's garage. I don't know what happened to it, but I lost it somehow. But it was a great toy. Really great toy. Okay, now we're on question number 21. What was the most costly toy you talked your parents into buying? Now remember, Hammershot, how much was the NES when it came out? Was it like $70 or something? Atari 2600, Nintendo 64. Oh, Miss April's. How do you, hold on. It was video. Does anybody remember how much the NES was when it first came out? Probably a bike. What? What? No, Nintendo 64? No, I mean the NES, the original NES. Like, how much was the NES when it came out? Does anybody remember? Wonder if I could look it up. Let's see. 120. So that's expensive. Yeah, $80, $90. Yeah, that's expensive. For that time, during that time period, that's expensive. In the 80s, paying $90, $100, $150 for a toy, that's expensive for then. That's crazy. I mean, that's pretty expensive. Wow. You got the one with the zapper with the, oh, wow. I didn't have an NES right away. I didn't get one till later. And then I had the SNES, I guess you could call it. So the toy that I got, that I talked my parents into getting, that I thought was, I mean, I think it was like $70 or something when it came out. Somebody mentioned this earlier. It was the Tyco Cliffhangers. I think it was Bizarre Larry. I could be wrong. Tyco Cliffhangers, Super Cliffhangers. I love these things, slot racers. And this was cool because in the commercial, it showed that the cars could go up on walls and upside down. It was like they had like magnets. And this is the thing that I had to have. It was like slot racing, slot race cars. That was another Santa never brought you. Oh, man. But yeah, about $400. That sounds about right, Hammershot. That sounds about right. That sounds about right. Pokemon cards, if you add them all up, they can get pretty expensive, I imagine. But this was the one thing that I asked for that my parents got me, and I didn't think that they would. Yeah, right? It was a really good one. I mean, Tyco was like, you know, they had the trains, they had the racetracks. They had some really cool stuff. I had a lot of racetracks through the years. But this one was cool because of the cliffhanger of them going up on walls and upside. You could build the track upside down and all this stuff. Still do put it together. No way, Hammershot. Dude, if you put it together again, Hammershot, please take video of it and put it in the Discord. Please share that. Please do. That would be cool. All right. Let's see. What number are we on now? We're on number 22. What's the most simplistic toy you played with and enjoyed? The most simplistic toy you played with and enjoyed. Ah, 5. Crayons, sticks, basketball. Marbles. I almost said marbles, TYD. I did. I almost said marbles. Pencil and paper. Lincoln Log. Silly putty. Now that is definitely Evel Knievel. Little Green Army Man. Those were very simple. Yeah, silly putty. Cardboard box. Were you breakdancing, Biz? Were you getting Biz? Silly putty, yeah. Pogs. Greater Rex. What's up, dude? Can we get a shout out for Greater Rex? What's up, man? Nintendo 64. Oh, yeah. Oh, yeah. Cracker Jacks box. I remember those. You're the best around. I remember those. Wooden blocks. Plastic Pontiac Fiero. Pretended to be a kid from... Just chilling. I'm glad you're checking it out, Greater X. I'm glad you're checking it out. For me, you called it again, 5. For me, it was the Frisbee. It was the Frisbee. For me, it was the Frisbee. I played with my Frisbee so often, and you guys know how much I love Captain America. So of course, I pretended I was Captain America and was like, that was, my mighty shield. It's a good one. It's a Frisbee, but it was a very simple toy. Very, very simple toy. You know what I mean? I saw some vids playing Frisbee golf. There's some really good plays. Oh, I know. Kites, man. I used to play with kites all the time. I used to get a kite and, I'm not opposed to getting a kite now. I wonder if I could go. Oh, I know a place I could fly one. I know a place. I can walk down in this open area. I might get a kite, guys. I might get a kite. If I get one, maybe I'll stream it. You still have stunt kites? I never could do this. I always just got the regular ones, I would get like whatever had my favorite cartoon on it and then just fly it, go outside and fly it in the front yard. Yeah. That's good. I think it's probably good. It's probably good kite season now I think about it. But yeah, I used to love Frisbee. I should probably get one. I'm surprised I don't even have a Frisbee around here. It's like everybody should have a Frisbee just chilling in the house. It's like one of those things that you don't really get rid of. They don't really break, right? I mean, you could break one, but Frisbees don't really break. You know what I mean? I may have to get one. Might have to get one. All right. Which one are we on? We are on number 23. This is, I know a lot of the answers are going to be for this one. I know what a lot of the answers are going to be. What was the first video game system you received as a kid? Pong. See, Nith got the first one. Atari 2600. PlayStation 1. Pong. There it is. There's another Pong. PC, Max Music. Nintendo. Which one? NES? NES. Okay, it was your very first one. Greater X is NES. NES, technically not a kid, but felt like one. Fair enough. Axeman, NES. Viper, NES. I've got a couple of kites and frisbees in the garage. Simon says, family friends had Pong and Atari. Radio Shack Tandy. Oh, man. Montgomery Ward's Pong. Pong I didn't receive a place. So that's how it was with me, K-Baby. I didn't have Pong, but my friend Scott had it. So I would just go to his house and play it. Atari 2600. I did play games on floppy disk. Ah, there you go. Nintendo 64. So, okay, Miss Aprils, look, I love you, but you can't answer everything with Nintendo 64. Look, I like Nintendo 64 too, but that can't be every answer. But actually, my answer, a lot of people have said my answer, and it is Atari 2600. This was the first system that I ever owned. And Yogomi, funny story, we rented an NES from Blockbuster, see how I'd like it, and then we got it. Oh, nice, nice. You bought your own as an adult. The Sears Telegame. See, now remember, the Sears Telegame, the Sears version was the exact same thing. It was the exact same thing. As a matter of fact, Atari worked something out with Sears to sell their systems in there. They just put like the Sears badge, but it was the exact same thing. It played all the same games and everything. And this was the first system that I had. It was the Atari 2600. And it was cool. It was fun. It was a lot of fun. I remember a lot of the games that we played. Of all the games that I played the most, Raiders of the Lost Ark was the one that I enjoyed the most. Because first of all, I love Raiders of the Lost Ark. And then they made a game, Raiders of the Lost Ark, for 2600, and I remember just playing it. And the thing was about that game is there were a lot of, I remember Pitfall. That was Activision Pitfall. You still have one, Roofer, yeah. But Pitfall was like, you know, when I think back, Pitfall was like that, like a triple A game back then. You know what I mean? Like what we look at big blockbuster games now. Pitfall was like one of those kind of games. Here's the thing, what I didn't like about Defender and Asteroids, Space Invader was almost close to the arcade version. The Pac-Man wasn't. Remember the Pac-Man in Atari 2600? It would move around, but it wouldn't turn. It'd all just always be faced the same way. Remember that? It just like, it was kind of like, you know. But you know what I did play the heck out of was Frogger. I played Frogger. So I remember playing Frogger for so long. I don't remember what my high score was, but I played Frogger like crazy on that game. But since we are talking about the system still, what was the first game that you played on your system? So a lot of people talked about, a lot of people had different systems. We have NES. We clearly have Nintendo 64, thanks to Miss Aprils. So what was the first game that you played on Duck Hunt? Okay, Pac-Man, Space Invaders, Lunar Rover Patrol. Wow, I remember that game. I remember the arcade, the upright. Pong was the only game on the system. Diddy Kong Racing or Mario Kart. Oh, I had both of them. I think I still have both of those, actually. Burger Time. Oh, man. Diddy Kong or Pitfall. Pong only, really? Paperboy. Well, I'm really surprised. Offset Juicy. Look at Offset Juicy. He just slides in. Paperboy. What's up, Offset? Good to see you. If first game was Missile Command, Defender. Wow, I'm really surprised nobody has. You even learned to play with your feet. I'm really surprised nobody's mentioned this game. I'm really surprised nobody's mentioned Combat. I played the heck out. And so guys, I have a YouTube channel, and I talk, January I put up a video. I'm working on some new videos right now, but I put up a video where I talked about old games that they need to bring back. And one of the games I talked about was Combat. So when I got the system, it came with Combat. So, and remember, it was, as it says here, it says 27 video games, but it was all the same games. Tanks, Pong, biplanes, invisible tank, jet fighters. Yeah, I mean, it was basically the same game. Do you remember the one where you could shoot you could shoot, and if you could control, like you could turn, if you turned your stick, the rocket or the projectile would go in that direction. Or I had Combat for my Atari 400. I never had another Atari after that. It is kind of World of Tanks these days, 5, but it doesn't have the I don't know if I've never played World of Tanks, but does World of Tank have a dogfight? This had tanks and planes, and it had biplanes, and it had jets. You know what I mean? So Galaga, I remember Galaga. We bought Pac-Man at the same time, so Pac-Man was first. Oh, okay. Combat did come with, yeah, it came with my system. It came with my system. Kaboom, I remember Kaboom. Yeah, I remember Kaboom. Yeah, I hope, yeah, Swirly. This is Swirly's first Show Me, so I hope she is enjoying it, by the way. Yeah, so this was the first game that I played. I played the heck out of it. It was a great game. It was a really good game. Oh, are you out, Kanara? Oh, I see. Kanara's out. I didn't realize what you were saying. Good night, Kanara. Thanks for hanging out with me. We're almost done, everybody. We're almost done, so I'll decide after 30 questions. Fair enough. All right. Question Dig Dug. I remember that. Yeah, but here, what's satellite jump shoes, spraining ankles since, oh my gosh. All right, number 25. If you played with die-cast cars, did you prefer Hot Wheels or Matchbox? This is an interesting one. I want to know what people thought about this. Like, if you played with die-cast cars, what was your choice? Was it Matchbox? Well, I expect to see Hot Wheels first. Look at that. Uh-oh. Hot Wheels all day. They rolled better Hot Wheels. But I had both too, Greater X. I had both too. Hot Wheels. The cars were more creative. Yeah, I think so too. I had more Hot Wheels, but I liked Matchbox better. Okay. Hot Wheels, Matchbox, Hot Wheels. I preferred Hot Wheels, but I got mostly Matchbox because my mom didn't know the difference. I mean, Micro Machines, yes. That was a different brand, but yeah. I think I had both. I think so too. I think, in my opinion, I thought that Hot Wheels just had, I thought Hot Wheels had the better designs. I thought they had, and you know, if I remember correctly, I think Matchbox was out first, and Hot Wheels was a response to Matchbox, if I remember correctly in the timeline. But I just remember Matchbox used to start making like these, or Hot Wheels used to start making these really crazy cars, these really crazy hot rods that were like really creative and like, you know, they weren't realistic, but they still rolled. And remember the wheels. Now here's the thing. If you remember, Matchbox would make a bigger version of their, remember they had the little small ones, but they also made these bigger versions that were actually really nice. Like, they were pretty high quality, like a little bigger, just like a larger version of the smaller Matchbox. And when I lived in Germany, at the time I was living in Germany, I remember thinking those were so cool and they were such good quality. And I also think that they made toys better back then. I think that toys and a lot of that stuff was made better back then. I mean, there was a lot of safety issues that they weren't considering, considering how many kids choked on something and things like that, projectiles and stuff that, it was just not lead paint. That's another one, lead paint. But see, remember the Hot Wheels tracks? You get those tracks and they had those little connector things and had doors and trunks. That's true, Rapture One. Matchbox were first. That's right. Yeah, I remember that some of the doors would open. That's true. I know you're much older than me, Rapture, but I do remember some of that when I was young in the early 70s. Yeah, you never want those things. We were tough kids, Swirly. I mean, we're still alive. We're still alive, so we didn't succumb to any of that stuff. Thank goodness. That is a Cutlass. It's an old. So I chose this picture because my mom really liked Oldsmobiles when she was growing up, well into her adulthood. She loved Oldsmobiles and Cutlasses, and she had several, like in a row. She loved Oldsmobiles. It's not even around anymore, but I found a picture of this Olds 442 W30. I was like, let's use that one. So my choice is Hot Wheel. Though I like both, and I had both, but I've always found that the Hot Wheel had a bit more creative and more like kind of, a lot more creative designs, I thought. So, all right. We are on to question number 26. We are almost done, people. We're almost done. Did you own any toys that talked or seemed to talk to you? I know someone talked earlier about Teddy Ruxpin, wanting a Teddy Ruxpin. But did you own any toys that talked or seemed to talk to you? Oh, my buddy, wherever he goes, we go. My buddy and me. Buzz Lightyear. Max, I forget how young you are. I had my buddy, and my sister had kid sister. Yeah, I never had my buddy. I remember Speak and Spell. Hold that thought, TYD. Hold that thought. You had a talking Big Bird that played tapes? Oh my gosh. Knight Rider. You had a Knight Rider car? Jeez. Bop It. Yeah, Bop It talked. That's true. Bop It did talk to you. Bop It. Yeah, I remember that. Bugs Bunny. You had a talking Bugs Bunny Rapture one? No way. We couldn't afford batteries. So my talking toy that I had was close. You said something earlier, but I still want you to hold that thought, TYD. Was a See and Say. Does anybody remember these things? Now I had to make sure I found the right one. I had the one with the pull string. Mine had a pull string, and it told me what the animals were. Remember this? Yes, and I was a kid. I thought it was talking to me. It was saying, hey, the turkey goes gobble, gobble, gobble. I felt like it was talking to me. I was a kid. I believed that this thing was talking to me. You don't know how much I learned about, first of all, how animals sound. Who knew? And this showed me how animals sound. It was awesome. Exactly, Bizwire. A cow goes moo. I didn't know that. I don't hang around with cows. And this See and Say was so kind to tell me that's how cows sound. This is how I found out how these animals sound. It was very educational, enlightening, and I did really feel like it was talking to me. I'm not going to lie. I really felt like I was fascinated by it. And imagine a few years later, several years later, when I found out that they had one that had like a lever that you pulled down. And we had the little thing you flipped upside down when you turn it right side up. It moved. I remember that too. But it had a lever that you pulled down instead of the pull string. And I was like, whoa, high tech. Oh, it would say, what's up, Doc? If you pulled the string on the Bugs Bunny, it would say, what's up, Doc? That's nice. My nephew had Omnibot 2000. I remember that, Just Wing It. I was always wanting something like that. Swanner Eyes. Hey, yo. What's going on, Swanner Eyes? Yes, you remember the one with the lever? I remember the first time I saw that, Max, I was like, dang, that's high tech, dude. They got a lever now? There's pull string? No more pull string? We got a lever? Moving up, man. But it was still like the same exact thing. Like, the technology really didn't change that much. But yeah, that was the toy that I had that I felt like it was talking to me. Because, I mean, it was. Again, I learned what animals sounded like. I mean, I kind of knew what a dog sounded like. But again, I don't hang around cows. I didn't hang around, what was that, a coyote? I didn't hang around coyotes. I didn't know what coyotes sounded like. But this told me. And now I know. Now we all know. All right. 27. What's your favorite sports-related toy? When you pull the string, it wouldn't go back in. Must be a See and Say app. I'm sure there is, Bizwire. It's got to be a See and Say app by now, right? Baseball. I had cows across the street. Yeah, I'm from Oklahoma. I wasn't around any cows. I know there were cows everywhere. I wasn't near them, you know. Oh my gosh. Electronic football table game. Okay. All right. Five. I'm gonna have to ask you to just stay out of my head. Stay out of my head. Okay? Can you do that? Just one stream. Just one stream. Just stay out of my head. Thank you. Because mine was Nerf football too. Dang it. That was mine too. We played so much football with this thing. And here's the thing. I had a real football. I had a real football, real basketball, real baseball, all that stuff. But we played with the Nerf one the most. Even when our friends and I would say before high school, when our friends and I got together to play football, we always played with the Nerf football. And at least one person had one. And the thing was, it's like you just showed up and somebody had one. Nobody had multiple ones. It's just that there was a Nerf football. We never knew who had it. We didn't care. We just played it. And I played with a Nerf football more than I played with the real football. So I never had the Nerf with extended wing on the back. So remember, this is 70s, 80s for me, Viper. So that came out much later. I never had one of those though. And it wasn't that one that you could throw it, it didn't hurt as bad. It didn't like break your fingers. Like if you jam your fingers, it didn't jam it. But doesn't that one with the wing thing on the back, it allows you to throw it farther or something like that? Yeah, exactly. I think it lets you throw it farther or something like that. I don't know. And does it make a noise? I don't know if it makes noise, but yeah, we never had dogs. So I didn't have to worry about. I know so many people have horror stories about their dogs tearing up their Nerf balls. We didn't have dogs, so I didn't have to worry about it. But Super Soakers, that's another good one though. That's another good one. Super Soakers. Okay, we're getting to the end, folks. We're getting to the end. We are on number 28. What educational toy did you have as a kid and enjoyed? Educational toy that you had as a kid and you enjoyed. Speak and spell. All right, just wing it. Speak and spell. Scrabble. Mr. Professor. Swirly Starry Sky. Mr. Professor. See and Say. We discussed how educational that was. Chemistry set. I always wanted a chemistry set, Rapture. My parents would never buy me one. I'm not really sure if I ever asked for one. I think I did ask for one. I think I asked for one several times, now that I think about it. I never got one. I think my parents were afraid that I was going to maybe blow something up or something. There's electronic circuit board. I remember that too, 5. You can get those kits where I remember that too. Lego. Books, that's fair. 101 circuit board. Yeah, I remember that. Mine, somebody mentioned it. Speak and spell. Remember the robotic voice? Remember the robotic voice? And like people have used this in songs, like the sounds and everything for this, and sounds in songs and stuff. They've used the sounds from this in so many songs. Like pretty big artists have actually. I think Beck did. Where in the world is Carmen Sandiego board game? I remember that. What's up, Axis, my buddy? How you doing, man? Alfie. Little Professor. I don't think I had that. Oh, Little Professor. That was like the little calculator thing that was like yellow and brown, and it had like a professor with a mustache and glasses, right? That's what that was, right? Yes, I totally remember that. It was like a little calculator thing. I think we had one of those. Viewmaster. I remember the Viewmaster. Yeah. I remember Viewmaster was interesting because you could look into it and you would just basically watch a story in stills. I don't know. Now that I think about it, it's like, I don't know. It's kind of weird. I'm doing pretty good, Axe. It's good to see you, man. It's good to see you. But yeah, this was, I played the heck out of this thing. I Speak and Spell, I think we had multiple ones. And I think it was one of those things that in my family, like everybody got one. Like I got one, my brother got one, my cousins got one. Everybody had a Speak and Spell at some point. And one of my favorite Viewmasters was Muppets at the Circus. I'm trying to remember what Viewmasters I had. I think I had Bambi was one of them. I think Bambi was one. I had a lot of Disney ones. But yeah, I remember those. That's why I can spell so well now, Swirly, because of my Speak and Spell. That rhymes, bars. Spell so well, speak and spell. That rhymes, bars. We're going with it. All right. Where are we at now? We are at number 29. Oh my gosh. This is going to be so good. Okay. What's the worst toy you've ever received? What is the worst toy you've ever received? Jack in a Box. My brother had a Jack in the Box. I got a toy gun holster, so my parents took out the toy guns and got rid of them, so those empty holsters would be the worst toys for me. Stretch Armstrong, really? Most people would love to have a Stretch Armstrong back when I was a kid. I think my brother had one, or I don't know, my brother or my cousin. Purple Game Boy Color. Oh. A broken Jack in the Box. My Pet Monster. I remember that thing. It was like the purple monster, like the big teeth and the gold, like yellow chains. Don't Break the Ice Game. Still have scars. Never popped out. Oh no. GoBots. Oh, GoBots. GoBots getting some shade. I broke it open and leaked. Oh no. Oh yeah, I got teased so bad. That's terrible. Why that? But now, like, if you had a purple Game Boy now, you'd be like super cool though. You know what I mean? Like, if you had a purple Game Boy now, you would be cool. I mean, who's gonna say anything about it now? You know what I mean? You would be totally cool. Okay, guys, you ready for this? I don't know why. I have no idea why my mother thought that. I don't know. I don't know. I don't know what the thinking was behind this. All I know is I was at home. Minding my own business, being a good son. And my mom comes home from shopping. And she hands me this toy. And I never understood why she got this toy. I mean, I understood the popularity. I understood the popularity of this character at the time. I understood the popularity of this particular character at the time. But as a kid's toy, I don't know why she thought that I wanted a Kojak action figure. This is true. My mom came home with this exact action figure, Kojak. And, you know, I mean, let's you know, it's fully jointed action. So, I mean, that's something. And I don't know if you could see, but look to the right. It actually comes, hold on. It actually came with lollipops. So if you know anything about Kojak, anybody watch the show, the lollipops, it came with lollipops. So he had a gun, a revolver, he has a hat, a cigar, and a holster, and lollipops. And I think my mom saw this. No, she didn't bring me a bag of suckers. I wish she would have. That would have like kind of made up for it. I think my mom saw this and probably just thought it was so funny. She probably saw this and thought it was so funny because it has lollipops. If anybody knows anything about Kojak was a TV show back in the day. He was a detective, and his thing was he would always Telly Savalas was the actor who played him, and he would always have lollipops. That was his thing, lollipops, and it was a very popular show. This is the suit. The suit's hilarious, isn't it, 5? The suit is hilarious. A plastic round balloon that you get in the Happy Meal. Oh wait, somebody gave you that outside of the Happy Meal? Oh, that is just bunk. Hammer shot. No wonder No wonder. That now I'm starting to understand your traumatic past, Hammer Shot. That right there, that is a key moment that probably triggered a lot of just despair and sadness. Stalking stuff. That's so bad. That's so bad. Okay, the suit is hilarious. The suit is hilarious. Okay. It's so funny. Oh, my mom got me that. Okay, everybody. So we're going to go to the last one. But before we go to the last one, I got to get Columbo. I don't know. Do they have a... Now I'm going to have to look up. Do they have... Surely they probably did have Columbo dolls. Okay, so everybody, I got to tell everybody a really funny story that happened today. I haven't laughed this hard. I have not laughed this hard in so long. In so long. I agree with you there, Five. I agree with you there. I'm totally on board with that. So today, I ordered a pizza. I had to go run an errand. I had to go drop off something for a friend. And I had to leave it in our mailbox. And then I come back home and I was like, I really want a pizza. So this happened today. So I order a pizza. And the reason why I'm looking at this, so you see this right here? So this is a concrete pillar, all right? This is a concrete pillar. This is what this is. It's not going anywhere. So I order a pizza, and I kid you not, I'm sitting over here at my computer and I'm working, and I hear, and it's DoorDash, right? Then I hear, like, just knocking. And I'm like, you're supposed to just leave it outside the door. No, I ordered it from LA Gourmet. You're supposed to just leave it outside the door. It says it right there. It says it right there on the thing. Just leave it outside the door. And she's just like tapping and tapping and tapping. So I open the door and I look at her and I'm like, you could just, just leave it right outside the door. And she goes, okay, so I'm going to do this sitting down. But I'm going to show you exactly what she did, all right? So outside my door, there is a pillar outside in the hallway just like this. And she's this close to it. So as she's talking to me, she goes, oh, because sometimes I deliver, and she's backing away, I deliver it, and then they claim that they don't get it, and she goes, bam, right into the pillar. Right into the pillar. She was less than an inch away from it. The whole time, she was this close to it. She was backing away, and she goes, yeah, and then she goes, bam, and I was like, oh. And to make matters even better, the icing on the cake was, instead of walking around it into the hallway, she squeezed, but it was her escape plan was to squeeze between the pillar and the wall. I laughed so hard. I mean, there's all this hallway, right? I think she was so embarrassed and so flustered that she just went, I kid you, it's like this narrow, and she wasn't this narrow. And she just slipped through the thing to escape. Oh my gosh, guys. I closed the door and I fell on the floor laughing for a good 15 minutes. I kid you not, I was on the floor laughing so hard. Maybe the thing is that it wasn't so bad that she hit it. I saw it happening, but I couldn't stop it in time. I was like, well, because she was so close, and then she just bam, ran right into it. But it was her going through this, going through the part, between the wall instead of just going out into the hallway. That's what got me. The fact that she slipped through the little slot. I laughed so hard. I fell on the floor laughing. It was, It was so funny. It was so funny, and I felt bad for her. You know, I didn't laugh at her while she was there. I didn't want her to feel bad. I'm sure she was already pretty embarrassed, but it was just so funny. I hadn't laughed that hard in a long time, and then I had to tell somebody about it. It was so funny. It was. She's still stuck. I should go out and look, make sure she's not stuck between the wall. I'm not kidding. There's only like this much space between the wall and the pillar. She could have just gone like around, but no, she's like, I gotta escape fast, and this is my route right here. And she's so like, I'm just like, you gotta imagine to me, seeing her slide through that, I was like, why did she go through that? I was like, why did she go through the thing? Anyway, oh, it was just so funny. I laughed so hard. I didn't laugh at her while she was here. I waited, and it was a very, very quiet laugh. I don't think anybody heard me. I know, just wing it. I was just thinking that I probably wouldn't have pizza right now. And it's good pizza. Okay, everybody. It is time. There's no mercy or pepperoni in this dojo. The pizza was great. Ari heard you. The pizza was great. I'm not going to lie. The pizza was delish. All right, everybody. It's time for question number 30. And not only are we at question number 30, we get to find out if Swirly approves of Yogomi Shōmi, her first Yogomi Shōmi. So it takes 30 questions. So here we are on question 30. Number 30. What is your favorite toy of all time? I have a little bit of a story behind this. Favorite toy of all time. Any toy that you've ever owned. It could be a video game. It could be a handheld. It could be a sports thing. G.I. Joe. Anyone else? Favorite toy of all time? I already know what mine is. But there's a little bit of a story to it, though, before I reveal what it is. Star Wars Millennium Falcon, nice. Tweedledub, what's going on, by the way? I can't pick favorites. This is too hard. You can pick one, Swirly. Just think of your list and then just randomly, probably Transformers. Okay, think of the list that you have and then just grab one randomly, real quick, and then throw it in the chat. Your bike. Little handheld electronic football play. Yeah, handheld, yeah. Nerf, oh, yes. The Nerf Bazooka, that was a good one. I remember that. You're going to pick your VR headset. That's good. You could be current toys, sure. It's too hard of a question. Working on some white Tiger Zord from Power Rangers. Transformed in everything. Nice. ColecoVision. See? Rapture had ColecoVision. I never had it. Lucky. Corky, Spirograph, Hacky Sack. We talked about Hacky Sack. I used those for more years. Yeah, we talked about that earlier. It was Kinex. Kinex was, okay. Kinex is a good one. Kinex is a good one. Talking Alf. That's a good one. So I have a favorite toy, but I wanted to put a toy that was really my favorite toy. And it was, what was the U.S. flag? What was the G.I. Joe, what was the G.I. Joe, what was it called? The ship, what was that called? The U.S. flag, is that what it was called? Yeah, USS flag. I forget what that's called, where the planes land on it. What's that called? No. It was like a aircraft carrier, yes. So not only did he have, so here's the thing. I didn't have one. But my cousin Richard did. And if you know anything about this toy, the USS flag, it was huge. Like, it was a big toy. So it wasn't one of these things that he could just go, hey, I'm going to bring this over and then take it home. When he brought it over, he pretty much had to leave it because it was just a hassle to take it all apart. And, so he would leave it at my house. He would leave a lot of toys. And he would also leave the jet. Remember, it was like an Eagle, it was like a F-15. Or was it an Eagle or was it an Eagle? Sky Striker? It was similar to an eagle though, right? Wasn't it based off the eagle? I could be wrong. But either way, so he would leave that there. So I could say, I wanted to say that that was my favorite toy, but I didn't own that toy. It was his toy. Even though it spent a lot of time in my house and I played with it, I was a little older at the time, so I didn't play with it as much. I just thought it was just so cool. So the toy that I did get that I just thought was absolutely so cool, and it kind of was sort of like I had a fascination with computers and tech anyway. I was so into computers and tech and everything very early on. Like when I got into 7th grade, I started taking computer programming classes. I used to take BASIC and things like that. Very early computer programming languages. I would go into computer stores like Radio Shack, or go into even Montgomery Ward's, and go over to wherever the computers were, like the Commodore 64s, and then type in some basic. I didn't do too much. I learned Fortran and some other stuff, COBOL, I guess it was called COBOL. And I remember typing programs that would just loop and do math forever, and there was no way to stop it. And I thought I was, being all like a spy or stuff. But the one toy that I did get that I really liked, still my favorite toy, was the Radio Shack Armatron. Does anybody remember this? How cool this was. It was like this arm, and you could move it around, and remember that? That was like so cool. I had one of these. I wish I wonder if my mom still has this in the garage. It was so cool. This was so cool. This was way back. This was in the 80s, Greater X. And this was a Radio Shack Armatron, and it was this thing. You had the sticks, you could move it around, you could make it open and close, pick up things, and it was just the coolest. I thought it was the coolest toy. This was sort of kind of also on my way out of hold on, let me look at the year that this actually came out. So the Radio Shack, so this was 1984. This came out in 1984. So at this point, I was getting to be, my mid-teens. I was 14, 15 years, I turned 15 years old, and I was starting to kind of get away from the toys. I was getting way more into my music. And so this was like the last of I know, I'm old, Gritter X. This was the last of like the toys that I played with at this point, and it was a great one. It was definitely one of my favorite toys and it was one of those ones that I always really wanted. It was the last one that I ever had. I want to say this was probably the last toy that I ever really played with before I grew up, and then had high school stuff and band and girls and all that stuff. But I wonder if you could still had the Armatron Switch record. There you go, see? We're thinking out of the box, Axe. I like it. I think that'd be cheating, but still. My grandmother was a hoarder, and I cleaned out her place when she passed away. I have experience. I bet Frank's, I don't know. I'm wondering, Swirly. I'm wondering what my mom might have. I still haven't grown up. I haven't totally grown up. She has all Frank's stuff. She just might, everybody. She just might. I mean, I don't know what's in there. I have no idea what's in that garage. There's no telling what's in there. And I don't know. I may have to look. So everybody, that is the end of the show. I hope you guys had fun. It was a little bit of a shorter one because we didn't have any trailers or anything like that this time. But we are going to be doing another one pretty soon, and it's going to be over video games. So I don't know if Miss April's is still here, so make sure you have your Nintendo 64 games lined up, because I know you're going to want to talk about them. Love you. Isn't toys supposed to be up? That's what I've been hearing, Greater X. That's what I've been hearing. I've been hearing like Toys R Us is supposed to come back, or somebody bought them. Somebody acquired the name, and they're trying to kind of reboot it or something. That's what I've been hearing. So we'll see. We'll find out. But anyway, everybody, I hope you all have a wonderful, wonderful night. Thanks for hanging out with me. It was a lot of fun. I enjoyed it. The next one is going to be over video games. So I'll let you know when those questions are in the Discord. So I'll see you guys soon. Have a good night. Bye.